Hello, are you able to hear me clearly? Hello, cameras on, please. All right, very good morning. Let us go ahead. We are in the last part of, thank you. We are in the last part of our introduction chapter. We have to now go and complete the 5 sections of new taxation regime, tax rates 115. Bas bad be. Are correct hai? So, first of all, we are done with tax rates of all the assessees in the old regime. And we have also understood what the new regime is. Sir, the new regime comes with some features which are common in all the sections. What are those common features? One, there will be reduction in tax rates. Two, for this reduction, you will have to compromise, that is, you will have to forego on certain tax benefits. So, certain exemptions, certain deductions will no longer be available to you. Correct? MAT, AMT, whatever is applicable. MAT is applicable to companies and AMT is applicable to other assessees. But if you go to the new regime, that will not be applicable. Very important, new taxation regime is optional. So you can decide whether you want to be in old or new. You have to decide before the due date. And we have now also studied what is the default regime and how to opt in or opt out. And of course, special rates will be applicable. So if we may put it this way, we will have to segregate our income into two parts. Normal income, you can pay tax as per old regime or new regime, but special income will always be taxable at special rate, irrespective of whether you are in old regime or new regime. Ye correct hai? These were the common features. Then when we studied the differences exist only under 115 BAC. So the other 4 sections are same with respect to these aspects also. Difference 1, 115 BAC does not mention resident or non-resident. That means we will cover who? Both, because in the other sections they mention resident cooperative society, domestic company. Correct? Second, default regime for the other 4 sections, old. So only if you opt for new, you go to. Correct? And once opted, you can never come back to old. One way, CA course. If we talk about 115 BAC, default regime will be new. So only if you opt before the due date of filing return, you will be put under the old regime. In that also there was confusion. If you are having no PGBP income, then you can do this on a year-on-year basis. If you are having PGBP income, then first by default you are in new. Opt, so you go to old. Now where are you? Old. Some years later, you wish to come back from old to new on a condition that you will not be given new regime ever again, only if PGBP stops. This is the last thing that we stop. Correct? Eh? Now, 5 sections we have to study. I'll pick up 115 BAC first. Yes. Once you go in old, you are in old unless you come back to me. Okay. First, we will do 115 BAC because it is unrelated. See, to be very honest, if we talk about the other sections, if you don't remember, I remind you, these 2 sections are applicable to domestic companies. These 2 are applicable to resident cooperative society. So these 2 appear to be similar and these 2 appear to be similar, but that is not true. The truth is that this has more similarity with this. The only difference is the assessee. In fact, all conditions are same. And again, this has more similarity with this. So what we will do is, we will study these 2 together and these 2 together. You can say we will study all 4 of them together for better understanding. So what we will do is, we will finish section 115 BAC, start to end, everything written under section 115 BAC, which will also include certain things that we have already studied. So this will serve as your, you can say, revision, or you can say, whether I have revised properly at home or no, am I able to give the correct answers. For example, let's start with, who is the eligible assessee? 115 BAC is applicable to which assessee, bro? Which assessee? Individual. When this section was first time introduced in 2020, it was only individual HUF. Last year there was an amendment. So please understand, this year there are amendments, but last year there were too many amendments. So apart from individual HUF, we now also cover AOP BOI, obviously AOP BOI will be excluding cooperative society because for them we have a separate section, and we also cover artificial juridical person, and more importantly, as nothing is specified whether resident or non-resident. See, when I write anything in black, it is what is written in the law. If I change the color to blue, it is my explanation. Red mein we will obviously be writing the amendment. So that's the color scheme that we use in the class notes, and a similar scheme you will see when you get the handwritten book once ready. Okay, so yes, this is what we have already studied. Okay, second, do we know that once an assessee comes under 115 BAC, there will be no alternate minimum tax applicable? See, this section is for individuals. So for individuals, we have to say no AMT. If we do the company wala section, so we will say no MAT. Obviously, in individual wala section, we will say no alternate minimum tax. Of course, do we know that this is optional? Yes, okay. We have already studied this. We also know that default regime is going to be new, and therefore you will have to opt for old on or before 139.1. 139.1 is one of the most important sections of your entire syllabus. Of course, when we come to that chapter, we will be doing in detail, but rough idea you should be having even if you are working in audit. The due dates of filing, return of income, John. Transfer pricing cases, November, audit cases, October, and everybody else, July. So John, July, October, November. On or before due date, you will have to opt for old. Correct hai? In that also we have studied people with no PGBP income. Kya bro? Year on year. This is revision, huh? Common points mein na, everything was together. So we are now studying separate features of 115 BAC, but we have already studied all this. And of course, anybody having income under PGBP. So what? From new you can go to old. Now where are you? You remain in old only, huh? You remain in old. Some years later, you may go from old to new on the condition that now old not applicable forever except if PGBP stops. So if you stop having income under PGBP, you get the option of selecting the regime on a year-on-year basis. Ye clear hai, everyone? So now only 2 points are left. Guess karo, what are those 2 points left? Tax rates, because we have been saying new regime means reduction in tax rates. And second, wild guess. What are the exemptions and deductions that we will have to forego in order to be eligible? Correct? Bus reduction in tax rates and tax benefits to be foregone. Last 2 points, 115 BAC gets covered. In fact, those were the only 2 points. I could have taught you only those two. These 4 we have already studied. This was like a revision. Are you correct, hai bro? Chal theek hai. So let's go to first the tax rates. What are the slabs under section 115 BAC? And ladies and gentlemen, so 115 BAC one more time undergoes a change. Last year also the slabs were drastically changed, completely changed. This year auntie has made further changes. Obviously, you don't have to study last year ka tax. Now the thing is that if you are working in office, so you will be filing returns of people. You will be filing as per last year ka rates. But then in your exam, you have to study these rates. So you avoid confusion at least in the classroom that sir, ye wala rate, ye attempt, wo wala rate. These are the rates applicable for your attempt. If your exam is in May 25, November 25, these are the rates applicable. They have given you slabs. Observe carefully. For all assessees under section 115 BAC. All assessees who are a part of 115 BAC will have these slabs, common slabs. Notice something, please. Does something hit you? Do you want to pass some comment on the line that I have just written? Try karo. Anyone? There is no segregation of individuals into senior, super senior. All individuals, senior citizen, super senior. By the way, over there in the old regime also senior, super senior only in resident. But here, first of all, resident, non-resident, HUF, AOP, everyone. And same slabs. There is no benefit, extra benefit to senior citizens under the new regime. Is that clearly observed? Now some are like, sir, my grandparents will be offended, sir. Arey pagal, you have to be happy. Well, how? Well, why? You don't have to learn 3 rates. Same slabs for all of them. You understand or no? So what are these slabs? And I am only talking about the amended slabs. I am not discussing with you the last year ka slabs to avoid unnecessary confusion. 0 to 3 lakh rupees. 0%. Ladies and gentlemen, the basic exemption in new taxation regime will be 3 lakh rupees for everyone. I mean for you and me also in old regime. We are none of them non-senior citizens. Not me too. I have crossed half, but 60 mein time hai bro. So suno. In old regime, what is our basic exemption? 2.5. Non-resident 85 years. 85. 2 lakhs. इसलिए सब lecture attend. What is your name? वाह. वो शाहरुख खान का कौन सा मूवी? कुछ होता है only. First lecture I said don't miss any lecture, and after the first lecture today you have come. Next when you will come in the 10th chapter? नहीं हो गया सब. मैं just asking. बोला you know I just come regular interval just to check whether you know things or whether I know things or नहीं. सुनो. Higher basic exemption limit will be given only if resident. So non-resident 100 years also 2 lakh 50. But in new regime for everyone, you and me also 3 lakh rupees basic exemption. Now here is the change. So last year all slabs were 3 lakh. 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 15. The change is in the second slab they now cover not 3 lakh but 4 lakhs ka income. That means the income between 3 lakh to 7 lakh. How much is the income in this slab? That 4 lakh will be taxable at 5%. 3 lakh to 7 lakh, 4 lakh will be taxable at 5%. Next slab contains 3 lakh rupees only. So 7 lakh to 10 lakh. How much is the income in the slab? Will be taxable at a rate of 10%. Next slab is 10 lakh to 12 lakh. How much income in the slab? 2 lakh. On this 2 lakh, applicable rate will be 15%. 12 lakh to 15 lakh. Now this slab again contains 3 lakh. So last year it was 3 ka table, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Auntie just wanted to increase 1 lakh in the 5% bracket, which she has removed from the 15% bracket. Otherwise, here also it is 3, here it is 3, here it is 3. If you want to know what is the amendment, it was 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, and after 15, 30%. So the change is that 5% ka bracket now does not contain 3 lakh, it contains 4 lakh. But then that 1 lakh has to come from somewhere, no? Where has that come from? It has not come from the 10% bracket because this still contains 3 lakh. That 1 lakh has come from 15%. That means if you compare new taxation regime between last year and current year, what is the amendment? 1 lakh rupees from 15% has come to 5%. That means on that 1 lakh you are going to save 10%. Last year's ka new taxation regime and this year ka new taxation regime mein tax difference is 10,000 rupees. 1 lakh ka 10%. If you want to mathematically understand how it works. I do agree that students who gave exams till November 24 attempt learning new slab was easy for them because they just had to recollect 3 ka table. It's a little complicated for you, but then once auntie came in the picture, everything has become complicated only in the income tax law. So thank you, auntie. Thank you so much for making income tax so complicated that nobody understands. You understood the slabs? So basic exemption 3 lakh. Next slab 3 to 7, 4 lakh ka 5%, then 3 lakh ka 10, 2 lakh ka 15, 3 lakh ka 20. So this remains same as last year. And after 15 lakh rupees, Modi ji's favorite figure, you are aware of this, no? 15 lakh Modi ji, chal chhod, 30%. After 15 lakh, everything will be taxable at a rate of 30%. ये clear है everyone? Okay. That means please understand that between old regime and new regime, after 15 lakh there is no difference. If at all there is any tax saving, it will be in the first 15 lakh rupees. I had told you that amount 1,22,500. Well, then let me prove that number, prove that amount with numbers. First of all, let us calculate tax as per new regime. If you recollect, in the old regime, we did first 250 0, next 250 12,500, assuming category A. Next 5 lakh, we applied 20%, so we got 1 lakh rupees. So at 10 lakh rupees, we got fixed tax of 1,12,500. Second category 1,10,000. Third category 1 lakh. Let's do a similar thing here. So first, just answer what I'm asking. How much is the amount in basic exemption? 3 lakh, and the rate applied is 0. So obviously you'll get no tax here. Next slab ka amount 4 lakh. Rate, so tax, fantastic. Next slab amount 3 lakh. Rate, so 30,000. Then 2 lakh ka 15%. Again 30. Then 3 lakh ka 20%. 60,000. So if I ask you the tax liability at 15 lakh exact, 1 lakh. Ye clear? At income of exact 15 lakh, it will be 1 lakh 40,000. And anything after 15 lakh will go in. Okay, wait. Therefore, after today, what you are going to do? Net taxable total income minus 15 lakh into 30% plus 1 lakh 40,000. Somewhat similar to what you have been doing. Thank you. What you have been doing in the old regime also. How, sir? 3 categories now. So now you understand why this is easy for you. There you had to remember 3 amounts: 1,12,500, 1,10,000, and 1 lakh for category A, B, and C respectively. Here you just have to learn 1,40,000. Irrespective of senior, super senior, resident, non-resident, HUF, AOP, everyone, pick up your NTTI, remove 15 lakh. So you get excess over 15 lakh, that will be taxable at, plus the fixed tax at 15 lakh, 1,40,000 rupees. This is how you will calculate. An institute gives suggested answer also like this. So till last year, this amount used to come to 1,50,000. Because of that, 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, you can sit and calculate in your office if you're filing returns. In your exam, it is irrelevant. You have to learn these slabs. Is clear hai? How you are going to calculate? Abhi now we are doing comparison. If we had same 15 lakh as per old regime, so at 15 lakh, what is tax in the old regime? Obviously, it won't be these slabs. It will be slabs of old, and for comparison, take the highest slabs. That means take the first category where we get highest tax. How do you calculate? 15 lakh ke upar, if you are asked to calculate as per old regime, so what's your method? How are you doing it? 15 minus 10, perfect. On that 5 lakh, 30%. So that brings you to 1,50,000 plus that's 262,500. Ye correct hai? And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, your savings, which till last year was 1,12,500, because this was 10,000 higher, now you have 1,22,500. This is your saving. So if at all you are going to the new regime in terms of tax, what are you saving? 1,22,500. And for this 122,500, you have got no bloody idea what they are going to take away from you. Of course, I will give you the idea. Arey bro, 80C, 80D deduction, no, together 80C, if assuming you avail the maximum benefit of that section, 80C is 1,50,000 and 80D is, it has two categories for yourself and parents. So you can, minimum is 25, 25. That also is 50. If parents are senior citizen, it will become 25 and 50, 75,000. 80U for those of you who are eligible, 1,25,000. 80U में भी दो है, normal disability and severe disability. Just understand how much are you losing. And I am talking about basic sections which can apply to you and me. Now, corporate sector को deductions of special economic zone, scientific research, specified business, that can be crores of rupees to save what, 1,22,500. If my client wants to go to new regime, no, I will tell my client, I will give you the money. If my client is able to prove that new regime is beneficial, the difference wala amount I will give you. If you are able to prove. So I'll tell you what, in every budget, last couple of years, auntie is only mentioning new regime, new regime, new regime. Last 4 years, she has not done any change in the old regime. Rebate ka change, slabs ka change, whatever is being changed, this amendment also, all these amendments, if at all, are taking place in the new regime. Because auntie is making the new regime attractive? No. She is trying to make it look attractive. And then plus the extra garnishing by floating news that 72% people are filing returns in the new regime. And human tendency, if everybody is doing something, you also want to do. You know, there was some confusion that whether this offline batch will happen here, there, where it will happen. Election year, we always have trouble because we have limited time, considering that everything happens very late. I'm sure you must have discussed with each other. तू क्या कर रहा है? तू क्या कर रहा है? लेगा नहीं लेगा? चल छोड़ 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 छोड़. You know, you have this tendency of doing what other people are doing. You don't use your own brain. And a lot of decisions go wrong in that. New taxation regime lena is going to be the worst decision of your life if I am your consultant. Because what it is going to save for you, bro. Now, see, after 15 lakh, old regime, new regime, everything will be 30 only, no? So, if at all it is saving what? 1,22,500. This year, auntie has played a little smart. So, in the exemptions and deductions that have to be foregone, she is like that in new taxation regime, certain benefits she has increased. For example, salary ka standard deduction is 50,000. But in new regime, she has made 75. I'll discuss all this. I say orally, I'm giving you knowledge. And then in the budget, she is saying this will save 7,500 rupees of the taxpayer. Now, I'll tell you how her numbers are working. She is assuming you are in 30% bracket. So, in 30% bracket, if you get deduction of 25,000 extra, 25,000 ka 30%, 7,500 will be your extra savings. And thus, at the end of this year's budget speech, she said that with the changes that I am making in new taxation regime, from this year, taxpayers will be able to save 17,500 rupees. This is the figure she announced in the budget. How 17,500? 10,000 she changed in the slabs. And she assumed that salary ka standard deduction mein everybody is in 30% bracket. Bro, like literally everybody is in 30% bracket. So it is assumed that everybody is saving 17. And मैं तो बोलता हूँ 17,500. वाह, क्या कीजिएगा इतने रुपयों? 17,500. Some are like still more than my monthly income, sir. VRCA articles, but that is a matter of time. No, you are there to learn, not to earn. That day when you understand this clearly, no, articleship is not for earning, it is for learning. If you have chosen articleship on the factor that your office was near your house and they were paying good stipend, these two are the biggest mistakes that a CA student makes in choosing articleship. These are not even factors, and then you have regret for so many years. Wrong articleship decision. Why? Because near my house. Bro, 90% of Mumbai city travels for 3 to 4 hours per day for livelihood purposes. And if you have been always in a particular geography, So you know about the thinking, the mentality, the behavior of people only of that geography. Man is a social animal. You have to interact with people everywhere. You've seen the web series Jamna Par on Amazon Mini TV. वो तो free है bro. Come on, उसके लिए you don't have to take subscription. Otherwise you'll say कि user ID password. When then one area ka student went to another area, it was difficult for that student to get adjusted despite being a single digit rank holder. You know, there was one web series Half CA that did not show the clear picture of the CA course because it was only talking about failure. In Jamna Part, that CA student was all India rank 5, I think, in CA. Still, life was not easy because was not used to interacting with people of different mentalities. So stop doing what other people are doing. But if they are taking admission in my class, you can follow them. So ladies and gentlemen, new taxation regime at the end of the day, if we talk about numbers, 1,22,500. Is that clear? And for this, you will have to forego tax benefits in the form of exemption and deduction, which are massive. We'll discuss that. But is this part clear? The slab rates of new regime. By the way, this was only the comparison part. You have to learn this much. NTTI minus 15 lakh into 30% plus 1,40,000. Obviously, if there is any income taxable at special rates, we will segregate and apply all throughout tax rates. I have told you this. Come on. Old or new is applicable only for normal income. Special income will always be taxable at special rate. These are basic tax rates. Now, after basic tax rates, what are the three concepts? One by one. First, rebate. Now then, here in 115 BSc, individuals are covered, no yaar? And individuals are eligible for rebate. 2 years ago, here I used to say same as old regime. Chalo, next. By the way, old regime mein, what are the conditions for rebate? Resident individual income up to 5 lakh. And quantum, actual tax or 12,500, whichever is lower, it was same. But last year, auntie amended this also. Bola not same anymore. So auntie says that in old regime, people get rebate only till income threshold of 5 lakh. I increased the threshold. So other two conditions she kept same. Resident, that means non-resident, no rebate. Individual, that means HUF, AOP, BOI, no rebate. I remind you, 115 BSc covers HUF, AOP, BOI also. And third, here is the amendment that took place. NTTI up to rupees 7 lakh. So basically your announcement, what did I tell you? Make new taxation regime attractive, right? But make it look attractive without making it attractive. Prove karu. Income criteria is 7 lakh. 7 lakh, na? Without taking deductions. Now just take your 80C and 80D. So this 7 lakh will become 5 lakh. In the old regime, so you can take many more deductions. She has not made the new regime attractive. She is only making it look attractive. Being attractive and looking attractive are two different things. I am both, but sorry. You understand 7 lakh ka threshold? Acha, ek second. Exact 7 lakh? Like exact 5 lakh over? Fantastic. These are the conditions to be eligible for rebate. And once satisfied, what is going to be your quantum of rebate? Actual tax, or what was the maximum rebate amount in the old regime? Here she kept it. Acha, idea was what? Till last year at 7 lakh rupees, the tax liability was 25,000. 0 to 3, nothing. 3 to 6, it was 15,000, and then 1 lakh was 10%, so 25,000. So basically, her commitment was at 7 lakh, whatever tax will come, it will become 0. Now this year, the slabs have been changed. So at 7 lakh, first of all, you won't even get 25,000 tax. So it appears that she is giving you 25,000 rebate, but at 7 lakh, your tax liability only will be, come on, 20,000. So end of the day, it is going to be rebate of only 20,000, if you understand what I said. She amended the slabs. She's like, why should I change this? reduce this. Unnecessarily people will feel that yaar last year tak 25 ka rebate tha, now it is only 20. Let it remain. No, only you and me understand that with the change in slabs, now nobody will be able to take the benefit of 25 unless we have special rates ka income. It is going to remain 20,000 only. At 7 lakh rupees, tax liability is only 20,000. Ye clear hai everyone? So if your income is exact 7 lakh, you will get rebate. But if it crosses 7 lakh, you will not get rebate. Supposingly your income is 7 lakh and 1 rupee, then no rebate. 1 rupee we can't take because rounding off made becomes 7 only. Let's take 7 lakh and 10 rupees. Then no rebate. So auntie again did something. And this is not a current year amendment. This is last year. Okay. Auntie said that here I will also allow you something called marginal relief. I will allow you something called marginal. Well, we have come across this concept before, where marginal relief traditionally, historically, was always allowed and available only against surcharge. For rebate purposes, it was never a concept. But I want to make the new regime look attractive, so I will give marginal relief. How? Dekho, please understand. With numbers. Supposingly, I am in the old regime and my NTTI is exact 5 lakh. So what is going to be my tax? 12,500. From this, I will give rebate of 12,500 and end up paying no tax. Correct? Hai? But if my NTTI is 5 lakh and 10 rupees, avoid taking 5 lakh and 1 as an example because that in rounding off has to be taken as nearest multiple of 10. So 5 lakh hi ho jayega. Okay. So take 5 lakh and 10 rupees. First tell me the tax. 12,500 plus 2 rupees or aayega. 10 rupees will be taxable at what rate? 20%. What is 20% of? So can I say here you will get tax of 12,500? No rebate. Sir, kyun no rebate? Why no rebate? NTTI has exceeded 5 lakh rupees here by a small amount. Matlab, suno what is happening in the old regime. If my income is exact 5 lakh, my tax is becoming. If my income is increasing by 10 rupees, my tax is increasing by 12,500. Unfair. But then government is like that this is the criteria for rebate. We are not increasing your tax. We are just giving the rebate or not giving the rebate. But new regime, let's make it attractive. So what has auntie done? Supposingly your NTTI is exact 7 lakh. Let's calculate the tax, please. At 7 lakh, it will be 20,000. And are you going to be eligible for rebate? Maximum is 25, but you have to restrict it to 20, obviously. Tax will be 0. Now let's talk about NTTI 7 lakh and 10,000. First calculate the tax, then I will discuss this. Oh, calculate the tax, please. हाँ जी 21,000. 7 lakh पे 20 and 10,000 at 10%. So 1,000. 21,000. Sir, why no rebate here? Because income has exceeded. Correct hai? But here comes the concept. Auntie says in new regime I will give you marginal relief. So between this case and this case, if I ask you what is the increase in NTTI? 10,000. No, 7 lakh has become 7 lakh and 10,000. And how much is the increase in tax? 21,000. So maximum we will increase it by. The difference in tax cannot exceed the difference in income, and therefore from the tax of 21,000, we will give you a marginal relief. We will keep only 10 and therefore we will remove 11,000. This benefit is being given in the new taxation regime. Marginal relief was always a concept associated with, but only to make it look attractive, she has introduced marginal relief. Some are like, sir, now the new regime is beneficial. At 710, you are getting marginal relief. The moment you cross a little over 7,20,000, this will stop. Stop ho jayega. Somewhere between 722, 723, there won't be any marginal relief. Because in such cases, the income difference has exceeded the tax difference. Now you can sit with your calculator and calculate all throughout your life. You'll get the answer. You want to do this? Chale, come. At 7,20,000, what is your tax? 22,000. So what is the increase in tax? 22,000, no bro. And what is the increase in income? Is tax difference higher? Yes, so there will be margin. समझा क्या? 2,000 rupees का margin बिल के. अब do this. Increase in income is 22,000. Tell me the increase in tax. And therefore there will be increase in tax है, there will be marginal relief. 200 rupees का ही marginal relief होगा. Increase in tax cannot be more than increase in income. So we will give 200 rupees marginal relief here. At 723 you will not get it. This is 23,000 and this is going to be. This time there will be no marginal relief because this time income difference is higher. No? You have to see this amount. If this amount is lower, then there will be marginal relief. If tax cut difference is more than income cut difference, then there will be marginal relief. But in this case, the income cut difference is more than the tax cut difference. There will be no marginal relief. Have you understood this? So, some are like, sir, new regime mein rebate is available till 7 lakh. That difference will get eliminated by 80C and 80DR. And sir, new regime mein we are getting marginal relief. Arey bro, so it is only taking your threshold from 7 lakh to 722. The loss of new regime is crores of rupees. Please understand that. New taxation regime is possibly the biggest scam of the taxation in independent India. I सच में बोल रहा हूँ. So what are the two options for us as individual taxpayers? Old regime and poison बोला था new regime में. Old regime and poison are the only two options. अरे ये clear है bro, everyone? So we are done with the basic tax rates of 115 BAC. We are also done with rebate. Let's go to surcharge. Will be same as old regime. So in old regime, what did we study as far as surcharge is concerned? After 50 lakh, greater than 50 lakh, मतलब 10%, greater than 1 crore, greater than 2 crore, greater than 5 crore. Same hai? Everybody is with me? Okay. Marginal relief obviously will apply. 2537 not applicable on certain special incomes. That concept is also going to apply. But then be careful about one thing, that in this case your NTTI has to be as per new regime. So one thing everyone has understood by now, that NTTI in old and new cannot be same. NTTIs, agree with this statement or no? If you agree, then I go ahead. NTTI in new regime will always be higher than old regime. You agree with this? Because in new we are foregoing certain tax deductions and exemptions. Hello. Okay. So for example, you have taken some special economic zone ka deduction of 30 lakh in the old regime, and thus your NTTI is 40 lakh rupees. So old regime mein no surcharge. But in new regime, that 30 lakh will not be allowed. So your NTTI will become 70 lakh rupees. So there will be 10% surcharge. You understood? Rates are same, but check income as per the new regime. And then auntie brought one more amendment last year. Auntie said, in new regime, 37% not applicable. In new regime, 37%. So, this is a big benefit of new regime. 37% का surcharge gone. मतलब listen, after your income crosses 2 crore in new, surcharge 25, and after 5 crore 25, 10 crore 20. मतलब 37% का surcharge is removed. But in the new regime, मतलब old regime में after 5 crore it will be 37 surcharge, but in new regime it will only be 25. So big benefit, no? 37% surcharge. Gadeda, listen. Please listen. Anybody whose income crosses 5 crore rupees is least bothered about savings of 120 to 500. First of all. Second, it is these people who cross 5 crore who are actually going to take deduction of scientific research, crores of rupees, deduction of specified business, warehousing of agriculture produce, cold chain facility, hotel of 2-star and above category, hospital with minimum 100 beds for patients. You have faint memories of learning something like this in CA Inter Business Profession? Specified business, 100% deduction of all your capital expenditure, section 35 AD PGBP. And if not, don't worry. Wैसे I assume that students don't know anything in direct tax, and they have cleared CA Inter with the support of indirect tax. And your reaction is, sir, don't assume it is the reality. But little you recollect. Hospital with 100 beds for patients, hotel of 2-star and above, inland container depot, container fleets. Bro, open the front. You carrying your mobile phones? Open. नहीं, CA final students को भी allow here. I don't know whether you are aware. 11th standard to CA intermediate, all students are supposed to deposit their mobile phones outside the classroom. We don't allow in the class. Online students are surprised. ऐसा भी होता है कि हाँ मुंबई में होता है ऐसा. We are in Mumbai only. Till CA Inter, we don't allow students to take the phones in the classroom. The phones are deposited in the office. But you all are final students. Even if we tell you, you're not going to listen. Because that is what you have been doing last few years. So you are carrying your phones. Front camera hai. How many megapixels? Open. Front camera. Jaldi. Front camera open. You're looking at yourself? Because the classroom mein mirror where I bring from. वैसे भी this has become our default mirror now. And males or females, we all, what is the probability in this lifetime of doing scientific research business? We have done this exercise before because you bunk the lectures, no, so you don't know. What is the probability? Scientific research is like, kya kar gaya? Huh? Specified business? Special economic zone? What is the probability? It is those who cross 5 crore actually do the businesses. And it is they who are eligible for crores of rupees ka tax deductions under those provisions. Whether special economic zone or PGBP, scientific research, anything like that. You and me, life gets over at ATC and ATD. So those people who we are giving this benefit of elimination of 37% are never going to take it because they are going to lose crores of rupees benefit. Are you understand? By taking those deductions, they will bring themselves under 5 crores. Arey, come on, bro. Scam hai scam. New taxation regime. I know by now you guys are convinced, but then we have, a reason almost everywhere to make you understand. There is only one thing. Acha, by the way, surcharge ka part is clear, new regime. Only one thing. Kindly do not go and tell this to auntie. Please, otherwise auntie will be like, acha acha, old regime 4%, new regime 2%. Saving. No. Always 4% on basic plus surcharge. Always. Old regime or new regime, individual or HUF, company or firm, irrespective. 4% HEC always applicable. These are the tax rates of section. Yeah, points of 115 BAC we were learning, bro. Good morning. First 4 points were like a revision. We have already studied them. Fifth point, tax rates. We studied with the amendments. Hello. And now, the sixth and the last point. The tax benefits to be foregone. What does an exemption or a deduction do to your net taxable total income? It reduces your income. Correct? That means we all agree that exemption or a deduction is a tax benefit. Obviously, between them also there is a difference. Exemptions we don't write in the outer column. So we say this income is exempt and amount column we write 0. But in deduction, what do? We write the amount, it comes in the total, and then we subtract. Such things are known as deduction. But then whether this or this, it is reducing your NTTI and accordingly reducing your tax. So now, when auntie introduced new regime, she said that I hereby reduce your tax rates. But you can't be taking so many exemptions, deductions and insisting on reduction in tax rates. If you are ready to forego those benefits, I am ready to reduce your tax rates. So in order to go in the new taxation regime, you will have to forego a long list of tax benefits. I have been doing this list since the last 4 years, since 2020, since the time new regime has been introduced. So if you ask me to reproduce the list in the order of section numbers, Section 10.5 leave travel allowance ka exemption not allowed, 10.13a house rent allowance ka exemption not allowed, 10.14 there are certain allowances, आपका uniform allowance, academic pursuit allowance, hostel allowance, education allowance, all under salary not allowed, but in that there are 3-4 exceptions. When new regime was introduced, in the beginning they said no deduction under section 16 for salary, so standard deduction, entertainment allowance, professional tax paid not allowed. Then last year amendment took place, they said standard deduction will be allowed in old as well as new. In fact, this year they went one step further by saying old regime ka standard deduction will remain 50,000, new regime ka standard deduction will become 75,000. So this won't be allowed. Special economic zone ka deduction not be allowed. There is a concept called additional depreciation in PGBP. Just hear what I am saying. It is something that you will understand. Additional depreciation if you are in the business of manufacturing. So we get normal depreciation on our assets plus extra depreciation if we are manufacturers. In the new regime, you'll get normal. You won't get that extra. If you are doing tea, coffee, rubber business or site restoration business, there are some deductions of PGBP that you will not get. If you are in scientific research business, there are some deductions of PGBP that you will not get under section 35. Specified business, as I was talking about, cold chain facility, warehousing of agriculture produce, you will not get that deduction. Under income from house property, if your property is self-occupied property, you will not get interest deduction. See, in letter property, we show income. So against that, we are allowing you to take deduction. But in SOP, there is no income. So that interest ka deduction makes SOP loss. So in new regime, that is not going to be allowed. The biggest and something that is going to hit all of us hard is deduction of chapter 6. Not allowed, subject to there are 2-3 exceptions. 2-3 exceptions. 80CCD subsection 2, 80CCH subsection 2. There is a section 80 JJAA employment generation ka section. No. Yeah, exceptions. These deductions will be allowed in old regime as well as new regime. All other deductions, 80C, 80D, and 80C, 80D are popular. You have 80DD, 80DDD. There is interest ka deduction, interest on education loan, interest on home loan, 80E, EEA, EEB, interest on electric vehicle. All these tax benefits will not be allowed in the new regime. And that's the list. See, if I have to show off that I know the list by heart, bro, I have got 3 months to show off. The entire income tax law is copied here. I have not, and you have been referred to by your seniors. Believe me, they have not taken any share. In fact, the seniors who recommended you to join my class actually told me that, sir, if you had any plan of giving me a share of my friend ka fees, you rather give that as a discount to my friend only. You have got such nice friends. Believe me, they have not taken a single penny, because you otherwise you'll start looking at them, with doubts. Kya yaar, tu commission mara mere is fees mein se. Believe me, there's nothing like that. Okay, so if you have seniors who have been my students, they must have told you, I do not use the textbook at all throughout the syllabus. I just have to make you a few markings, once in PGBP, once in आपका deductions का chapter where 80C में what list में से what all you have to learn, in PGBP which block का rate you should learn for section 32 depreciation का, and only third place is this chapter introduction. There is this list of deductions which will not be allowed in the new taxation regime. It's only a list. Okay, you may understand some of the sections right now, you may not understand some of the sections at all, because as we proceed in our syllabus, somewhere in PGBP I will do additional depreciation, scientific research 3580. Somewhere after 5-6 chapters I will be doing a chapter called special economic zone. So as we proceed in our syllabus, you will actually start getting understanding of what is written. First, I know the list by heart because I teach day in day out. It is very easy. In my subconscious mind, everything is safe. Full day I am doing this only, and all this is applicable to intermediate also. So whether final or inter, I am doing this every day. But you don't have to learn this list by heart. Please understand. CA ka exam, it is not a company secretary exam, CMA exam, with immense and due respect for the other professional courses and our other professional brothers and sisters. In their exam, they will ask, list the tax benefits to be put. CMA, they don't ask like that. CMA, they will give you a question. In that question, there will be data of special economic zone, scientific research 3580. You have to calculate NTTI and tax. Take those deductions, calculate NTTI, calculate tax. There will be a line in the question. Calculate income and tax in a manner most beneficial to the taxpayer. Mark the words. Calculate income and tax in a manner most beneficial to the taxpayer. Which means, take all the deductions, calculate the income and tax as per old regime, and in these deductions, identify which are not eligible in the new regime, add back those amounts, increase your NTTI and apply the new rates. So you don't have to reproduce this list of 20 deductions by yourself. If it comes in a question, it should instantly hit you. ये old में है, ये दोनों. This is allowed in old, this is allowed in old and new book. You just have to do it that way. Still, I'll tell you what should be your style. Right now, I am going to, quickly take you through the list. You all are carrying the PDF of the, I have given you print out your PDF. Kuch hai aapke paas? Okay. So quickly, I will take you through the list. Listen to me carefully. You may understand some of them, you may not understand some of them. What you should do is revise the list. Go through the list. Okay. Take a gap of 2 days. After 2 days, pick up a blank piece of paper. How many of you all are actually taking down the class notes, things that I am writing along with? So you leave 30 lines here. Here. Tax benefits to be foregone, no? Leave 30 lines here. After 2 days, come and write those tax benefits to be foregone without referring to any book. See, don't revise and immediately write. I don't want it that way. Understand what you are supposed to do. Revise the list. Revise once, twice, as many times you want. Then don't touch your book for 2 days. Matlab, touch your book for other revision. That's not what I meant. Ke chalo holiday jate. Chalo Lonavala weekend. Nahi. Gap karo, gap 2 days ka after revision. And then on a blank piece of paper, try to write. If you are able to write even half of the list, you have achieved what I want. Right now I want only that much. Your homework nahi, I am not forcing this on you. I am requesting this in your interest. See, simple hai. If my students score in my subject more than any other coaching class or any other faculty, there is a reason, and the reason is that they have followed my instructions. Like being present for every lecture, being present on time for every lecture. What they follow, see, it is all about following or not following instructions. If you follow instructions, then I take full responsibility of every single mark. I take full responsibility of your results. So it is my humble request for those of you all who still belong to that thinking, that culture, that mentality, that teacher jo bolta hai chupchap sunne ka. Because last few years, especially after COVID, I have seen this cultural change, this behavioral change, especially at CA final. Whatever you tell them, they'll do only what they want. What has all of a sudden happened only at final? I don't know what has happened all of a sudden. The behavior only of people has changed. Okay, I can't change your behavior. I have to change myself. But even if there are single digit students, no, who actually want to follow instructions. Okay, yaar, nahi, teacher ne jo bola, if we blindly follow, so possibly that is the best thing for our country. Because thousands like you have come and gone. And I am doing this in the last 14 years. And believe me, with experience, I am telling you, whoever has followed instructions had never had to worry about scoring marks in exam. So all I am asking you to do is, you are taking down notes, no, already. I am going to make you go through the list very fast. You will understand to the extent required right now. As we proceed further in our syllabus, all the deductions, exemptions will be covered. Except salary, because it is removed from our syllabus now. Okay? You leave these 30 lines. Because क्या है, 20 points है, but based on your handwriting का size, one line per point may not be enough. Leave 30, if you want, leave 40 lines. And revise the entire list. Do not touch this paper on the same day. After 2 days, on that blank paper, just fill up this space. And if you are able to write half also, तो चलेगा, enough है. For now it is enough. Okay. As you go further and you practice the additional question bank, you practice the MCQs, the remaining things will be taken care of. You understood the task at hand? So very quickly, I'll take you through the tax benefits to be foregone. This is the first chapter as per our index also. This is the first PDF also that I've given. Yes, starting mein to it is tax rates only. Now see, abhi something like old regime. Look at how difficult the life of a tax teacher is. This is old regime. You clearly see, no? Senior citizen ke liye we have 3 lakh, super senior ke liye we have 5 lakh, and everyone else we have 2 lakh 50. So that way there is no change, no amendment here. But I still had to change this, if you observe carefully. And this I have to do in every question. Every question, even if there is no amendment. Transaction ka date has to change. It has to fall in 24-25 for a question to come in your exam. समझा? हाँ, तो ये तो old regime. Rebate ka, if you see surcharge ka, whatever is written. Now you don't. I hope you are not surprised. Okay, sir, it is same as what we have studied in class. Wow. नहीं वो पागल. 115 BSc. Now you see all assessees are covered here. All assessee मतलब individual, HF, AOP, BOI, AJP, whether resident or non-resident. ये optional, PGBP, no PGBP. Now whenever you see any amendment in the color wala handwritten book, so I will write in red color. But in the black and white book also, amendments should be easily located. And therefore, if you observe carefully, the font, the presentation of amendments, even in the black and white book, it is going to be like this, with effect from assessment year 25-26. The text will change from black to white and the background will be changed to black, bold, etc. So that it is, even while flipping the pages of your book, it immediately catches your eyeballs, it immediately attracts you, and so that you know where you have to study amendments. वैसे I must tell you that in the handwritten book, all this will be covered in color scheme, वो red color के अंदर, and not relevant for you. This is relevant for anybody who gives November 24 and does not clear. So anybody who does not clear November 24 का attempt has to study the amendments applicable for May 25. May students are lucky because if you don't clear, God forbid, but if you don't clear November 25 May, your syllabus remains same as May 25. It does not change. But November 25 you don't clear, it is again dangerous because May 26 new budget will apply. So May students that way are lucky. So all the laziness that you had in the past, not giving the June foundation after 12th, के आराम से देंगे ना, you gave December foundation. So you had November का inter and therefore you have November का final. That laziness is going to cost you. 12th के बाद immediately if you would have given June का foundation, so you would have been eligible for May intermediate and May का final. That dark past of yours is not going to leave you now. Laziness में you gave the December attempt. I am talking to the November students right now. है ना? हाँ, तो that is going to cost you. अच्छा, एग्जाम ही नहीं हुआ था. अच्छा, you all are the 21 वाला people. 20 में फाउंडेशन था. December 20. अच्छा, 20 जून में एग्जाम did not take place. Fantastic. Abhi, whatever is the case, if you are a November case, you are at risk. So I am talking about November 24 students. If they don't clear, they have to study amendments for May 25. The amendments that I am going to cover with you in class. So what I also do is, like every other faculty these days, it is a concept and culture. We do recordings of all the amendments, even the revision lectures, and the amendment and the revision lectures will be uploaded on our app, only the same app from which you are getting access to your backup lectures. Uske andar, under free courses, you will find amendment and revision. As and when ready, it will be uploaded in the app. I think everyone has received that email, no? वो spam folder check किया. अच्छा, I'll tell you one thing. In the list given to me, your name was not there only. That is the reason your mail has not come. अभी एक minute, sorry, ऐसे बुरा मत मानना, but you paid fees. Then you have to go and fight with the admin team for not giving me the name. Yesterday I confirmed, I asked your name and I confirmed, and they said that yes, she has taken admission. So clear ho gaya. I was just doing time pass. So I am going to take the contact details and the email address and all, and you will get. Everyone else has got the backup lecture. So in that same app, SS Pro Educare, empowering the pro in you, one-to-one mentorship in commerce from 11th standard to professional degree. You can fill up the Google form on our website and you will be invited for a one-to-one session for mentorship if you are struggling with anything in your personal and professional career. We believe in the best. Yours truly, founder chairman. अच्छा तो वो amendment and revision का lecture will also be uploaded on our app only. Now we come to, अच्छा एक minute, before I take you through the list, I'll also show you very quickly. You see the rebate वाला part here? Resident individual income up to 7 lakh and actual tax for 25,000, whichever is lower. Surcharge wala part also I covered, HEC also. So the only part that we have to now discuss is this long list, which you'll find on page number 2. Hai na book? Page number 2. Acha, from the very first day itself, I also want to develop one culture among students. So when we say page number 2, we will actually not say page number 2. We will say page number definitions. Too deep, bro. मैं explain करता. Don't make that face. Okay. Page number 10 will be page number exempt income. If you now understand what I'm saying. Page number 28 will be page number PGBP. Page number 32 will be page number depreciation. Still not understood? Habit is habit. System is system. This is how you are able to, you are going to be able to learn your section numbers. As funny as it may sound, believe me, in the past, thousands of students, after a certain point in the class, they had started talking in this language itself. When I see a car having number 5645, for you it's a number, for me it is IFOS capital gains. If you ask me, sir, aapko itna sara section number learn kaise hua? You make it a part of your life. You give it love and affection, it will give you back. Simple. Okay. So page number 2, matlab page number definitions. At the bottom of that page, you see the list. Starting. Section 10. These are the tax benefits to be foregone. Section 10 exemption. Leave travel allowance. अब ये क्या है? Salary का exemption, no? Automatically, because of removal of salary, becomes less important as far as CA final students are concerned. But just to let you know, if you are going on a holiday with your family, your boss will give you money to buy tickets, so that exemption comes the amount that you receive or the amount that you spend, or there was an amount notified in the rules based on your mode of journey by air or any other mode of transport. There was an exemption. But the only thing that you have to store in your brain with respect to this list is that this is a tax benefit. It can be in the nature of exemption, it can be in the nature of deduction. This is a tax benefit that is going to be given in the old regime and disallowed, discontinued in the new regime. New regime mein you won't get it. Samjha? Next. This is still a little popular among salaried employees and those who post qualification plan to go in employment. This is going to be a part of your life. Section 1013A, house rent allowance. Boss is giving you money for paying rent of house. With that money you are paying rent, so you get some exemption. Actual HRA received 50% of salary in metro cities, Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai. 40% salary in other places. And there is a third limit, rent paid minus 10% of salary. Whichever is lowest will be your exemption. Bro, people take lakhs of rupees tax benefit in 1013A, those who are salaried employees. To save what? 120 to 500, you are going to leave this and everything else. All throughout this list, remember one thing, I am leaving this And I am leaving all of this. For what? 1,22,500. Wow. Remember this. Samjha na? Okay, next. 1014. This is also an exemption under salary only. इसमें your children education allowance, children hostel allowance, tribal area allowance, all those allowances का exemption will be denied. But there are exceptions. Exceptions मतलब following exemptions will be given in old as well as new regime. Okay. In old, everything is given. In new, we are removing the exemption, but following will be given. What, sir? Transport allowance for disabled employee, Divyang employee. Under section 1014, if you are a handicapped or disabled employee, there is an exemption of 3,200 rupees per month. That will be allowed in old as well as new regime. But the other allowances like children education allowance, hostel allowance, tribal area allowance, all that will not be allowed. And these other things, conveyance allowance. Nobody can understand this better than a CA student, especially those of you who worked in audit, right? Which is most of. Bro, if you have not done some manipulation here, that means you have not done your articleship properly. Yeah? You need to redo it, bro. If you have never traveled by bus and made a voucher for auto travel, नहीं वो voucher होता है ना CA form में, you have to give a list of your monthly expense which they reimburse along with your stipend. In my office we used to call it jhol book. So all our, you know, under the table hobbies, you know, as students we have some hobbies. We like to drink a lot of tea, etc. Sorry, tea. Oh, sorry. तो वो recover करने के लिए we used to do things like these. So no one knows conveyance allowance better than CA students, correct है ना? Now understand, conveyance allowance में the rule is your boss paid you 10,000. उसमें से 8,000 you have spent for traveling for office work. So the remaining 2,000 which you pocketed is taxable. मतलब what is exemption? The amount spent. So that we have to give in new regime also, no yaar. If you are spending money for the office, that can't be taxable. And therefore conveyance allowance for performing office duties remains in the exception. I hope you understand exception means this will be allowed even in the new regime. So handicapped employee ka transport allowance, conveyance allowance. And similar logic is for the other also. If you are on tour travel transfer allowance because of your absence from normal place of duty. So outstation audit work. So how many of you all actually go for stat audit or all these other audits outstation? So when is your next schedule planned? अभी upcoming है नहीं, September ending के बाद 6 monthly reporting, quarterly reporting नहीं, done all that. You are beyond these things in life now. हो गया now, ये level पार हो गया, now we'll go somewhere else. So you understand this, that if your boss is sending you for an outstation audit, so you don't have to buy train का ticket from your own pocket. Traveling का money, hotel में stay का money, food का money, everything will be, they do, no? उसमें भी तो you must be claiming more than what you have incurred. Sir और कुछ नहीं, बस local shopping का खर्चा निकल है ना? So that exemption has to be given in the old regime or the new regime. No, bro, we cannot make it taxable in the new regime. So your exemptions like children education allowance, hostel allowance, tribal area allowance, all that will be gone. But there are these 2-3 exceptions. One is handicapped employee ka transport allowance, and the others are nothing but your office expenses like conveyance, tour, travel, transfer, etc. For this exemption will be allowed. Is that clear? Section 1017, daily allowance and constituency allowance of MP and MLA. MP stands for Member of Parliament. We'll talk more about it in income from other sources. MLA is Member of Legislative Assembly. As someone who has, you know, crossed the age of 18, everyone has except Vivek, we know that. So someone who has crossed the age of 18, you should know who is the representative of your area. There is a Member of Parliament who sits on your behalf in Delhi where national decisions are taken, and there is one Member of Legislative Assembly who sits on your behalf in the State Assembly to take decisions on your behalf. The area from which I come, now this is not a flex, but then bro, I am born and brought up there. I come from South Bombay. So there is a Member of Parliament, a gentleman called Mr. Arvind Sawant from Shiv Sena. अभी don't ask sir कौन सा वाला. Mr. Arvind Sawant from Shiv Sena. Last 10 years he is the member of parliament. So if Mr. Arvind Sawant is sitting in the parliament, it is entire South Bombay he is representing us over there. And if we talk about the state assembly from my area, there is a gentleman called Mr. Mangal Prabhat Lodha, who also happens to be the richest real estate developer of the country, the richest politician of the country. Real estate developer. He is the MLA from my area. You should be aware of your area. For example, if I talk about this part of the city where we are conducting the lecture, the member of Legislative Assembly is a gentleman called Mr. Mihir Kotecha. And the member of parliament, recent elections parliament, it earlier was Mr. Manoj Kotak, but now it is a gentleman called Mr. Sanjay Patil. This much civic knowledge if you don't have, no, you go kill yourself. You know, you always want to crib ke road mein ye problem hai, train mein ye problem hai. You don't even know who is your public representative. These MPs and MLAs get money in the form of allowance. Kaun sa allowance? There are two allowances if you observe carefully: daily allowance and constituency allowance. When parliament is in session, so all of them are attending the session in Delhi, no, 543 MPs. And likewise, if the assembly is in session, they are coming to Mumbai, Vidhan Sabha and attending. But then MPs are elected from across the country and MLAs are elected from across the state. They are away from their home when the parliament or the assembly is in session. And whenever you are away from home, your day-to-day expense increases. Because see, for example, now I am taking lectures in Mumbai. Once my lecture gets over, I have to go home and eat my food. But when I used to take lectures in Kerala, Ahmedabad, after my lecture, I had to go to a restaurant and eat food. My expenses used to increase. And for this, we are going to give these MPs, these MLAs something called a daily allowance. So I am explaining the meaning of daily allowance. When we talk about constituency allowance, so first of all, what do you mean by constituency? The place from where you win elections is your constituency. For example, South Bombay is the Lok Sabha constituency of Mr. Arvind Sawant. Varanasi is the Lok Sabha constituency of Mr. Narendra Modi. Wayanad in Kerala is the Lok Sabha constituency of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Nahi manu. Gandhinagar is the Lok Sabha constituency of Mota Bhai. The place from where you win elections is your constituency. So you are going to be given some funds to spend for the people of your area, those who voted for you. Many a times if you are roaming in the streets, you know, you come across a garden, that this garden was beautified, renovated with the funds provided by the so-and-so gentleman. And there is a web series on Amazon Prime, Panchayat. Have you seen that? Season 3 aa gaya, Panchayat. Vidayak ji, sadak banwani hai, funds de. Vidayak is basically your MLA only. And it's a rural area, that village in that web series, Fulera village. That road is not good. So they are asking for funds to make that road. From whom? From the MLA. The MLA can give it from his MLA fund, constituency allowance. That is called constituency allowance. You see gardens, you see, you know, there are so many areas where you see CCTV cameras. And you'll find a board. This area is under CCTV surveillance from the funds of MP so-and-so, MLA so-and-so. That's their constituency allowance. They have to spend for the people of their area. Both of them fully exempt. Daily allowance, constituency allowance. ये भी ठीक है. Without mentioning anything, it is blanket exemption. Sir means what? Sir means whether they spend or they don't spend. What do a lot of politicians do? The funds that they get. Bro, they don't even burp, some of them. क्या करना पड़ता है, bro, पापी पेट. All types of acting you have to do in class. You understand? They have said these allowances are exempt without actually saying that you have to spend. Exempt. But now how are we cutting down on the exemption? At the end of the day, in the whole flow of learning daily and constituency allowance, I hope you have not forgotten ये point 4 of what? This benefit will not be given in the new regime. So MP, MLA can avail their exemption only in the old regime. ये clear है? Next, section 1032. Whenever there is a minor child, tax will be paid by the parent. So the amount will be clubbed in the parent. The parent will be given an exemption, amount clubbed or 1,500, whichever is lower. So if the income is 10,000, parents will pay tax on 8,500. If the income is 1,000, parents will not pay tax on anything. That's an exemption, 1032, not allowed in the new regime. Section 10AA SEZ deduction, don't put a lot of pressure on yourself as far as this is concerned. We have an upcoming chapter number 7 only, so it is within the PDF that I have already given you. Chapter 7 is special economic zone. There is a deduction for doing business in SEZ, but will be allowed only in the old regime, not allowed in the new regime. This is where a big change has taken place. Last year also the change took place, this year also. First of all, section 16 has got 3 deductions: 16(1)(a), 16(2) and 16(3). 1A is standard deduction. So when new regime was introduced, they wrote no deduction of section 16, matlab all 3 not allowed. But now they have changed it. They say 16(2) and 16(3) will not be allowed. Matlab entertainment allowance ka deduction and professional tax ka deduction will not be allowed in the new regime. But which also means that standard deduction is going to be allowed. Standard deduction is going to be allowed. Matlab in the old regime, we will take standard deduction, entertainment allowance, which is only for government employees, and professional tax. But in the new regime, we will take only, standard deduction. Ye clear hai? And along with now, the amendment, which orally I discussed with you some time back, this deduction shall be 75,000 in the new regime as against 50,000 in the old regime from this year. So, 2 years ago, no standard deduction in new regime. Last year, 1 year before you guys, old regime, new regime, both 50,000. This year, old regime remains 50, new regime 75,000. Ye clear hai? Stop here. This is the amendment as far as standard deduction is concerned. The second line is also an amendment. I'll explain that. But is the first line clear? So, new regime mein you will get standard deduction of 75,000. Old regime mein you will get 50,000 plus you will also get entertainment allowance, professional tax. Is that clear? Now, in income from other sources, there is a concept called family pension. First, let me introduce you to that. Then only you will understand the amendment that has taken place. Family pension. When an employee retires, employee will get pension. That is taxable under salary because you are getting from your past employer. But after death of the employee, the pension goes to spouse. That is family pension. That also happens only in government sector. Private sector mein you don't retire, you die. Anybody working in Big Four? I asked this before, I forgot. Sorry. Working in Big Four CA firms? Anyone? No. They're too embarrassed to actually. Anybody who believes that his or her firm falls in the top 10 CA firms of the country, at least if not Big Four? Top 10? Which firm, Shruti? If you don't mind revealing the name. अच्छा वो वर्ली वाला. I think 2-3 days ago only there was a sheet released on the basis of audit of companies, listed companies on the basis of market capitalization. The top 10 CA firms ka list was released. From there, if you retire, they consider you dead. There is no pension. Pension is paid only to government employees. For example, my grandfather used to work for Indian Railways. As a government employee, when he retired from Railways in the year 1995, he started getting pension. In 1997, my grandfather expired. It has been 27 years since he passed away. Even today, my grandmother, she is 81 years now, she'll turn 82 soon, is getting pension from Indian Railways. Sometimes I feel how much burden our government has as far as pension is concerned. In fact, my grandfather has 2 younger brothers and who are still surviving. One is 81, another is 78. 2 younger brothers of my real brothers of my grandfather. So that way you can say 3 grandfathers. 1, 2, 3. Those 2 were also government employees. They are even today getting some 40-50,000 per month. One used to work in the health department. So his job was all the food grain shops, grocery shops. He used to conduct something called a raid in their shops to check if they are mixing things in wheat, rice, etc. Everyone used to be scared of his car. And the third one was a school principal. 40-50,000 ka monthly pension they are getting, even now. For them, it is income from salary because it is from their employer. But for my grandmother, who is getting the pension from Indian Railways, it is family pension because she was never an employee. For my grandmother, it is taxable under income from other sources. So if the retiring employee is getting pension, it is income under salary. But if the spouse is receiving, it is taxable under other sources. By the way, after spouse passes away, there is no pension. Children को भी दो ना, ये सही था. No, after the spouse, there is no pension. In fact, every year in the month of November, those who have government employees in their family maybe will be aware of that. My grandmother has to actually go to State Bank of India, fill up a form, a declaration that I am still alive. Don't stop this pension. Abhi hum zinda hai. She calls it Jeevit Praman Patra. It is mandatory to submit it every year. If 1 year she will not submit it, they will assume that the spouse has passed away, stop giving the pension. So every year she has to fill up that form. That's family pension, taxable under income from other sources because of absence of employer-employee relationship. From this, under IFOS, there is a deduction, section 57. That's the amendment that I'm talking about. Let me speak the deduction orally first. 1/3 of the amount received or 15,000 rupees, whichever is low. So, IFOS ke chapter I will be doing in writing. In writing, I will be doing 1/3 of the amount received or 15,000 rupees, whichever is lower. So, if 1/3 is 20,000, deduction will be 15, and if 1/3 is 10,000, so deduction will be 10,000. 1/3 or 15, whichever is lower. So, what is the upper limit of this deduction? Now, auntie amends this and makes this 25 in the new regime. The upper limit. So, old regime, it will be 1/3 or 15, whichever is lower. New regime, this deduction will be allowed. So, I'll again tell you what happened. 2 years ago, this deduction was not allowed in new regime, just like salary ka standard deduction. Okay? Last year, amendment took place. Auntie said that family pension ka deduction will be allowed in old as well as new, just like standard deduction. So, last year ka change was standard deduction and family pension deduction will be allowed in old and new, both same amount. And this year she further amplifies it, further enhances it, that standard deduction is increased from 50 to 75 and family pension ka deduction is increased from maximum limit from 15 to 25. Both these deductions until 2 years ago were not even allowed in the new regime. So she is making the new regime attractive. Look attractive, bro. 25,000 ka increase here, where in standard deduction. And 10,000 ka increase where? In family pension. That is what she has done. 25,000 here and 10,000 ka benefit here. That is 35,000, bro. And for that 35,000, you have already foregone the things stated above, and you are also going to forego the things stated below. For what? 120 to 500 for 35,000, blah blah blah. You understand? Chalo, let's go ahead. This also I told you some time back orally. In SOP we don't show any income, so usme you will not get any interest deduction, but get get this thing clear. For LOP and DLOP, are you showing some income? In fact, DLOP, so without having income also we show it. So we will be getting all our deductions. Only under SOP we are not allowed. Ye clear hai? But then salary and house property, now that they are removed from the module, I doubt about the probability of it being asked in exam. But do not take a chance. At least go through this list. You all know what you have to do with the list, no? 2 days ka gap. Okay. Additional depreciation. This also I discussed with you. So everyone gets depreciation deduction. Manufacturers get extra deduction, but that will be given only in the old regime. New regime, you will not get additional depreciation. This 32 AD, no, you can actually cancel if you want, because this 32 AD was only applicable till 31st March 20. This section that way is no longer relevant in the Income Tax Act only, just that they are not amending 115 BSC and removing this line. If they remove this line from 115 BSC, I will also remove it from the book. I can't remove something from the book which is written in the law. But practically and theoretically, it is absolutely irrelevant. These few sections, just observe the section number ka range for the time. PGBP ka chapter starts at 28 and capital gain starts at 45. So anything that you see between 28 to 45 is PGBP. And in that PGBP also, section 30 to section 37(1) are the deductions that you are allowed to take against your business income. Jaise salary mein we get no standard deduction, entertainment allowance. House property mein we get 30% standard deduction, interest ka deduction. PGBP gives us deduction of all our actual expenses. So rent, rate, taxes, repairs and insurance of building if you use for business, repairs and insurance of plant and machinery used for business. 32 is depreciation, and 37(1) is the general section that any expense incurred for business will be allowed as a deduction. PGBP is about taxing your actual business profit. So do you understand that these sections that you observe here, they all fall in this range? This is the range of sections for deductions. Matlab all these sections are, come on, deductions allowed against PGBP income, not allowed in the new regime. New regime mein all these deductions are not going to be allowed. So of course, as we go to the PGBP wala chapter, you will understand some of them. You may not have any idea about any of them right now. वैसे 33 AB, ABA were तो not even a part of intermediate का syllabus, and honestly speaking, last 15 years they have not asked in CA final also. But this is important. This was there in intermediate also, scientific research, and they frequently ask in final also. This is extremely important, one of the most important sections. This is that specified business, warehousing of agriculture produce, cold chain facility. In this section, I'll just tell you a little about this section because it is a very, very important section. Detail mein I will do in PGBP. Just a little idea. When you buy an asset for your business, plant and machinery, furniture, you buy an asset. Is that a capital expenditure of your business? Now, normally, you don't get deduction of cost of asset, no? You get like a beggar, small amounts in the name and nature of depreciation ka deduction. PGBP, yes or no? But we want to encourage these businesses. We call them the 14 specified businesses. 14 businesses. In that only the list comes. Warehousing of agriculture produce, cold chain facility, production of fertilizers, hospital with minimum 100 beds, hotel of 2-star and above category. All that comes over there. Beekeeping, honey making, inland container depot, container freight station. If you have some memories of that, they say, listen carefully, in these 14 businesses, we will give you 100% deduction of capital expenditure. So revenue to any which way we are going to get. We will give you deduction of, can you believe that? Deduction of capital expenditure. Means you buy a machinery for 10 lakhs. In normal businesses, you will get 15% depreciation. So only 1,50,000 ka deduction. In specified business, you will get 10 lakh ka deduction. Take full deduction in year of acquisition itself. Massive deduction, but only in the old regime. This deduction will not be allowed in the. Ultimately, it is that list. So basically, these are all deductions that will not be allowed in the new regime. Ye clear hai? Okay, but then if you observe all the deductions studied so far, whether special economic zone or scientific research or ye cold chain hospital with 100 beds, front camera. Now you understand? Kya? What is the probability of you starting hospital in this life? CA form खोलना पड़ता है. CA करके you want to start hospital, अलग ही ठग life is going on. Hospital. See, I am not saying it is impossible. Supposing your spouse is a doctor, you tell your spouse, you take care of the patients, I will take care of the finances. It is not impossible. See, okay. You are confirming with each other कि तेरा कौन है तेरा कौन है. What is wrong with you? कौन है? डॉक्टर है कोई? कुछ नहीं है, नर्स है. So what? Nurse is also taking care. Bro, उसमें bro, lady nurse है कि male nurse है? It can be anything. Be careful. Huh? So you open a hospital. I am not saying it is. Nothing is impossible except putting the toothpaste back in the tube. Nothing is impossible. But I am asking about the probability. The probability of you starting scientific research business or hospital or hotel, and compare that with the probability of this point number 16, ladies and gentlemen. You have to forego your, can you believe this? Chapter 6A ka deduction has to be foregone. Exceptions I will discuss. Exception hai. But start by saying chapter 6 है. So 80C, 80D, आपका education loan का interest, electric vehicle का interest, just about everything you will have to forego. And this is something that will affect you and me, whether the nurse agrees to you or no. This is going to, bro, you are a CA student, so chances are very little. This is going to affect each one of us. समझा? Chapter 6 से deduction. not allowed. But exception है 80 CCD subsection 2 employer contribution to notified pension scheme. So this is a section that we will learn in chapter 6 A wala chapter. I am going to be covering heads of income wala part also, except salary house property which is removed. I am going to be teaching you clubbing set of deductions ka chapters also. Okay, over the years I have seen this habit, and of course as I say, post COVID the cultural change in behavior, ye jo change hai in students. Once I finish my first 2 volumes, that is the first 32 chapters, extra smart over smart students stop attending lectures because अच्छा अभी तो वो इंटर वाला पोर्शन करवा रहा है, clubbing set of deductions, वो तो सब I will manage, वो तो I know. Why to get up early in the morning for going to class for clubbing set of deductions? See, first of all, you think you know it but you don't know it. You are agreeing also, तो चलो that way we are on the same page. And secondly, I will be doing PGBP last. So I already told you I'll finish everything else. Last में I'll do PGBP. If you have bunked the lectures of clubbing set of deductions, I will not let you sit for PGBP. You're too smart. No, आता है ना हमको सब. You are नहीं sir, इंटर का syllabus I will manage, but PGBP तो 14 marks के लिए it comes. I will attend only PGBP. No, then whether to allow you or no will be my decision. If you're too smart, then don't come only. And if you still have that little tendency, nahi, we should listen to the teacher. At least some. We should listen to the teacher. So please attend all the lectures. I will be doing deductions ka chapter, and in that I will be teaching you what is this notified pension scheme. There are multiple subsections. There is subsection 1, 1B and subsection 2. The only deduction that is allowed in new regime is, if you observe carefully, subsection 2. So why the other deductions are not allowed? Why only subsection 2 is allowed? Nothing is bigger than logic. We will discuss. Okay. Next, in this also there is an amendment that in this subsection 2, are we allowing the deduction in the new regime? Only the subsection 2 wala? There is a limit that maximum deduction will be 10% of your salary. Just like standard deduction and family pension ka deduction, auntie has brought the third amendment here. Old regime mein the limit will be 10%, new regime mein the limit will be 14%. So all this you will understand only when we do. As I told you that all the deductions you may not understand right now. As we proceed in our syllabus, you will understand. One of the most important sections of your entire syllabus as far as your examination is concerned, section 80, Jajja A. 80, Jajja A. See, it is Jajja A. There is one more section, Jajja. They are different. This is Jajja. Profits of biodegradable, processing of biodegradable, processing, profits generated by processing biodegradable waste. 100% deduction for 5 years. Jajja. That is separate. And this is Jajja A. Extremely important section. Pick up the last 5-6 question papers of CA final direct tax. Bloody hell, CA inter direct tax. You will find this section 80 JJAA, Jajja A in every paper. MCQs pick up. You will find it everywhere. Why, sir? It is a deduction which will be allowed in old as well as new. That is so clearly visible. And your institute gets a chance to ask you trick questions. They will give you deduction of 80JJAA, tell you calculate income and tax as per old regime. Then they will add part 2, also calculate as per new regime. You will be like, acha sir, new regime mein to chapter 6 and not allowed, but this is allowed. This is allowed. So you disallow all other deductions, but this will be allowed even in the new regime. Because of 80JJAA, there won't be any change in your income amount. And plus, this is generation of employment. No. So in any case, it is very, very important. Very frequently asked in exam. But of course, we'll learn the section only when we do chapter 6. So you have more motivation now to attend that lecture also, because you do not remember anything from 80JJAA in any case. Padhai nahi tha to okay. There is 80LA with respect to something called International Financial Services Center, IFSC. In one of the chapters, I will discuss with you what is IFSC. When I do the meaning of IFSC, you will also understand 80LA. And then last year, an amendment took place. Our government has introduced something called Agnipath Scheme, Agnivir Corpus Fund. Agnipath Scheme? ये ऋतिक रोशन वाला नहीं? खुशियाँ जो मलो यारो लो, वो अग्निवीर कॉर्पस फंड. You must have, seen social media posts about Agnipath scheme. Yeah, you must have read news reports, print media, electronic media about protests, about riots that took place across the country because of this Agnipath scheme. What exactly is this Agnipath scheme? I'm telling you about the scheme. I'm not telling you about the deduction. Deduction we will learn once we go to chapter 6. But you should know what is this Agnipath scheme. Government of India used to do army recruitment through defense academies, and from there they used to recruit members in the armed forces, and they had to give them permanent job. And after they retire, now see, after Kargil there has been no war, so it's been 25 years. Just imagine someone who got army posting in the year 2000. And today, after 25 years, that person is retiring without participating in a single war and taking lifetime pension. See, government understands. Modi ji is Gujju, no, bro. They understand business more than anybody else. A Gujarati has the talent, he'll buy from a Marwadi, sell it to a Sindhi, still make profits. They are rarely and specially talented people. Correct, no? Modi ji knows that the world has reached that stage where going for war is a very, very rare possibility now. Because the economic damage of war is massive. And nobody wants that worldwide. Up 25 years without working, you retire from army, and lifetime they have to give you pension. A problem kya hai? Armed forces, cow, Shri Ram, farmers. These are sensitive topics in our life. You have to be very careful when you speak about them. I repeat the topics. Armed forces, cow, Shri Ram, farmers. These are those topics which can trigger any kind of debate, dispute, fight to the extent of riots, attacks. Supposingly government announces from today no pension for armed forces. Now see the reaction. Modi ji is good, you know. Idea. He says we will change the system of army recruitment. Recruitment ka system only will change. Youth in the age of 17 to 21 have to register. Suna pura scheme. Register in the age gap of 17 and 20. We will give you about 2-3 years ka training, and then we will give you army posting for 4 years. After 4 years, mandatory retirement. No army job will be a permanent job. Everyone will get only a temporary job of 4 years. It is compulsory to retire after 4 years. Only 25% members of armed forces will be retained after 4 years if you are excessively fit. So passing percentage is decided. After 4 years, you have to fall in top 25. Otherwise, you have to take mandatory retirement. And during those 4 years, what government will do? They will give you salary. Over and above salary, contribute some extra money in this corpus fund. Salary plus corpus. Salary plus corpus. At the end of 4 years, compulsory retirement. Salary we have already given you. And this corpus that we have built for you over the 4 years is your pension. Take it, get lost. Chal nikal. And no pension for life, except those 25% who are retained. Government has saved pension for armed forces by weakening the army, if you want, on the assumption that there will be no war. You get this? Now, why were there protests? See, understand, we are Marwadis. When we are born, we are taught bada hoke dukan jayega. If a person is born in Bihar, when he is born, childhood mein is taught bada hoke IAS officer. If you are born in West Bengal, when you take birth, you are taught that you will become an artist, actor, dancer when you grow up. Effect hai na? Go to Punjab, Haryana, some of those states, north ka states. When kids are born, no. Either they'll go to Haryana mein, to they are, sports enthusiasts also. Punjab mein, North India, a lot of states, childhood dream hai, people see themselves in army uniform. Right from birth, they have that kind of diet, that kind of workout because they want to see themselves in uniform, armed forces. They have lived that dream forever. 15, 17 years ka training they have taken, and at the age of 17, now they are told temporary job. Just imagine all your life you aspire to become a chartered accountant. Last few years you've been working hard for it, and then suddenly now CA Institute announces that you will be allowed to practice only for 4 years, then compulsory retirement. Bro, 40 years तो बनते बनते लग जाता है and then 4 years में retirement you are saying. Just imagine what will be your state of mind. And that is why they protested. And plus weakening of the army, if you understand. Objective क्या था? We don't want to pay lifetime pension. Without fighting any war, they are taking pension. And we can't stop also because sensitive topic. Now, as a cover-up, what happened? Because the main question was, where will these people go after 4 years? Just imagine, 4 or 5 years of your life you have given to CA, and now suddenly you are told that now CA is not for you, do something else. So you will be like, abhi main kidhar jaun? I have wasted precious years of my life. Where will I go now? As a cover-up, what happened? All the states which have BJP cover-up. So Uttar Pradesh mein Yogi Adityanath, at that time when it was launched, Maharashtra Chief Minister was Mr. Fadnavis. Now Maharashtra political environment is the biggest circus of the country right now. So if I ask you the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, you know the answer, but the question is right now. See, evening ka no guarantee. So Maharashtra politics has become a circus, we all know that. Okay, God alone knows who is the ringmaster here. Everyone pretends to be the ringmaster here. What exactly is happening? Who is in power and who is in opposition? Answer in brief, 10 marks. समझ में नहीं आता है. Which political party is it? That way you have respect for Indian National Congress. They are pure opposition. Pure opposition. No mixing. No mixing. Bro, Maharashtra Chief Minister of that time, Mr. Fadnavis, Yogi Adityanath. In fact, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister at that time was a gentleman called Shivraj Singh Chauhan, but he is no longer the MP CM. He has been taken as a Union Minister, Cabinet Minister. Agriculture diya? Not too sure, but he is a Union Minister now. They all announced what? That people who are coming from doing this, after this retirement as Agniveer, we will give you preference in state government jobs, so that your future is secured. Because Modi ji can't be wrong. They have to say this. Then only they will remain CM. Just imagine a BJP CM saying that Modi ji is taking wrong decisions. Bro, then you will not remain CM. Sometimes I also feel sad for auntie that way, because auntie is, the public picture of taking the blame. She does not have the right to decide anything. It is the two bosses who give instructions. She is only talking on their behalf. The handler is someone else. She is only a scapegoat. Just imagine somebody telling you, finance minister banayega. Of course. Of course. Security forces all around you, the stamp of being India's finance minister, so much respect, so much money, under the table, above the table. Condition kya hai? That you have to do only what we tell you. You are an employee. Don't use your brain. And anybody who is willing to use brain will never be encouraged. They know that the most appropriate person right now to become finance minister is CA Piyush Goyal sir, All India rank to CA final. But he is sidelined because they don't want intelligent people. Because intelligent people will give their own opinion. We don't want that opinion. He is sidelined. That one person who can actually give competition to Modi ji for the PM ka post, there is a gentleman. The only good performing central minister as of now is a gentleman called Mr. Nitin Gadkari. He is the only guy who is, he is the guy who is working hardest amongst all. But because he is a direct competition to Modi ji, he is sidelined. One more reason, thoda offensive reason. If you permit, I'll say it. Oh, ladies department. Hello. Network issues. Fantastic. So I was talking about, come back please. I was talking about a gentleman called Mr. Nitin Gadkari. There is one more reason why we can't project him as the PM candidate. It's a little offensive. I was asking for permission. If you allow me to say that. Oh, ladies department. Then later on, don't say कि हमने तो नहीं बोला था. Because the boys are always okay. See, Narendra Modi ji ko na, we call him in short Namo. We can't do that for Nitin Gadkari ji. This is too deep. Let that sink in. चल छोड़, अच्छा है, इफ यू नॉट अंडरस्टूड तो कोई ऑफेंस ही नहीं है. This is the Agnipath scheme. Under the Agnipath scheme, now that I have told you about this scheme, do you understand? अभी समझा? Oh, ट्यूबलाइट. Okay, forget it. Point is, that is the government. Your employer is the government only. I hope you understand. Central government employee only, no, the Agniveers. Are they contributing the money in your Agnipath scheme in the corpus fund? That amount is the deduction of subsection 2. And that deduction will be allowed in the old as well as the new regime. ये clear है? But the most important is 80JJ, AA. Very frequently it has been tested in exams. Is that clear? Now point 17. Do you see so many deductions that we are not allowing? Additional depreciation, scientific research. That means in the current year, if you go to the new regime, we will not give you additional depreciation. Let's take that as an example. No additional depreciation, no scientific research. Fantastic. Is it possible last year you were in old regime? The last year you were eligible for additional depreciation. Last year you were eligible for scientific research, but you did not have sufficient profits. So what do? You carry forward that deduction. That means this year it's a brought forward deduction. But are you going to new regime? So that brought forward amount also not allowed. Current year to not allowed. Brought forward also. The above deductions of past years also won't be allowed. Are you samjha kya? If you are opting for the new regime. In other words, you can say all these deductions not allowed in the current year, all these deductions not allowed if brought forward. Is that clear, everyone? Chalo. Next. House property loss को normally we are allowed to set off against other heads of income. एक second. House property में we can have loss if our deductions exceed the NAV. We can have a loss. And in old regime, we are allowed to set off against other heads. Limit है 2 lakh rupees का, but we are allowed to set. We learn set off का chapter also. In the new regime, तो SOP में interest only is not allowed. तो SOP तो there can't be a loss only. But in LOP, are we getting interest का deduction? So can there be a loss? That loss against other heads will not be allowed. House property loss. Now, if you read the statement, house property loss against other heads of income, not allowed. And last, any exemption of any allowance or perquisite under any other law. So that way, it's a salary-related tax benefit. But if you have some idea about a law called Payment of Gratuity Act or Industrial Dispute Act, under which there are some exemptions given. So there was gratuity ka exemption given under Payment of Gratuity Act. There was something called retrenchment compensation under Industrial Dispute Act. So these are exemptions given under other law. In new regime, all these exemptions will not be allowed. Salary related, so final may it is less important. But then, ladies and gentlemen, this is the list of tax benefits to be foregone for saving 120 to 500. And other than that 120 to 500, some side ka, garnishing ka masala they have given you. Like what? Rebate eligibility 7. Rebate mein marginal relief. 37% surcharge not applicable. Standard deduction increased to 75,000. Family pension ka deduction increased to maximum limit increased to 25,000. ATCCD2 ka NPS ka deduction increased to 14%. But all that together and that 120 to 500 also is not going to justify the crores of rupees that you are going to lose in the kind of deductions that you are going to forego out here. Old regime or poison. Remember this. Is that clear? These are, ladies and gentlemen, the tax benefits to be foregone. And one more time, you know what task you have to do as far as these tax benefits are concerned? Everyone? Fantastic. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the last part of our new taxation regime where we have to do 4 sections. And good news is that the 4 sections will be done together only. So we have got what 4 sections? We have section 115BAA, BA, and 115BAB. These 2 sections are applicable to domestic company. And we have got 115 BAD and 115 BA, resident cooperative society. ये correct है? Hello, everyone. See, that way, other points we have already studied. Like tax rate will be reduced, tax benefits have to be foregone, optional hai. Now in these 4 sections the default regime is going to be old. So you get new only if you opt for it, otherwise by default old. And once you opt for new, then lifetime new, then you're not allowed to come. So that way it is easier compared to 115 BSc. All I have to tell you is what are the tax rates. So the rates go like this. We first start with the basic tax. For 115 BAA, the basic tax is 22%. Orally, I have told you the difference between the companies which fall in BA and BAB. What? This is for manufacturing. We want to encourage the manufacturing sector. And same thing is here also. This is for manufacturing. The manufacturers, can you believe this, ladies and gentlemen, are getting a direct saving of 7% extra. So non-manufacturers का new regime का rate is 22, manufacturers 15, and same thing is applicable here also. And now I one more time tell you this. You think these two are similar because it is same assessing. No sir, no sir. The only similarity is assessing. As we proceed further, you will realize that these two sections are same in all aspects except assessing, and these two sections are same in all aspects except assessing. In fact, I am not going to teach you these two sections and these two sections. So no, I will actually teach you these two sections together, and then I will teach you these two sections because they have more similarities. समझ में आता है? Okay. So till now, the basic tax. Manufacturers 15 and others 22. Obviously, now I will not waste your time and my time by talking about rebate here because rebate is only for individual. So let's talk about surcharge. Surcharge for all these sections is 10%. Surcharge for all the sections 10%. That's one thing. But a more important thing, very important, new regime ka tax calculation, considering that you all are CA final students, corporate tax, cooperative society ka tax, everything is a part of your syllabus. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, very important thing to understand, note and save in your brain. In new regime, for these 4 sections, surcharge ka criteria is same as cess. When will it come, sir? Always come. In old regime, surcharge comes on the basis of income threshold. So for domestic companies, after 1 crore, 7%, and after 10 crore, 12%. Same is the case of cooperative societies. In new regime, your income is 1 crore, 1000 or 1 rupee, surcharge will be 10%. In fact, all the 4 sections. Similar to cess ho gaya, always and fixed rate. 10%. Understood? And of course, after surcharge, there is going to be HEC, and for HEC, though whether I mention or I don't mention, it will be always only no. How much? Don't tell this to auntie, please. And therefore, if we discuss what is the effective tax rate, all inclusive, please understand, in the old regime, surcharge may or may not come. So it can be basic plus cess or basic plus surcharge plus cess. Is that understood that in new regime it will always be all of them? Because this is fixed, this is also fixed, and this is also fixed. So we can reduce this to one final rate. For example, this is always going to be 22 plus 10 plus 4. So how many people are getting 22 plus 10 plus 4 as 36%? 22 plus 10 plus 4, 36. No, gadeda. 22. On that 22, it is 10. So that's 2.2. Total will become 24.2. And on that, we will apply 4% cess, making your effective tax rate 25.168. ये correct है? 25.168%. And do you understand? In this section also it is 25.168%. First section of company and cooperative society same. And if we talk about the manufacturers, whether company or cooperative society, 15, 10 and 4. Okay, 29. 17.16. So no, it appears to be 7% saving, but actually it is 8% saving, because surcharge and cess together will make it a saving of 8%. 25.168 for non-manufacturers, 17.16 for manufacturers. Clear hai? Hello, is that clear, everyone? Direct saving of 8% for manufacturers, and that is also always okay. These are the rates. Simple hai, koi slabs etc. nothing. Flat hi hai. For this you will have to forego tax benefits. But let us first clarify, is this beneficial compared to old regime? See, at least in individual we saw the saving of 120 to 500. Too less, but there is saving. Is this a reduction in tax rate? Sir, those who fall in 17.16 definitely have lower rate than old regime. Correct? Those who fall in 25.168, if we compare them with 30% of old regime, it is still lower. But in the old regime for companies, we also saw another tax rate, 25%. Correct? Eh? And then somewhere we are getting a feeling, sir, this is higher than old regime. Nice, sir. This 25.168 is all inclusive, and that 25 was basic. See, in basic, surcharge may or may not come, but cess will always come. Without surcharge, if you just add 4% to 25, then also it becomes 26%, and surcharge will only make it higher. So let us make this statement. See if you agree. We are sure that rates in new regime are lower. All the rates are lower compared to the old regime. 17 was always less. 25 compared to 30 was less only. But 25.168 compared to 25, bro, that is also not 25. It is minimum 26 with 6. With surcharge, that will still be high. This is all inclusive. Clear hai? Okay. Do we know that whatever be the rates here, special rates will continue to apply? So this will apply only to your normal income. And do we also know that for companies here, if you come in new regime, there will be no MAT, and for cooperative society there will be no AMT. But all these features like special rate applies, MAT AMT does not apply, optional hai, on or before the due date, once taken cannot change. All that we have studied in the similarities and differences. We also studied that these sections are very, very specific as far as domestic and resident is concerned. But BSc was a little different. We had to only learn the rates and the other things. So now we have to just complete the conditions that are written in these 4 sections. We will do them in sets of 2. The first set of 2 sections will be 115 BAA, and with this I will do BAB, no, company. Nahin. With this I will be doing 115 BAD, because the only difference is everything else is same. Let's start by this. Do we know that these are those 2 sections where net rate is 25.168? That also always, because always surcharge always says. Correct? Eh? Now then, what are the other points? First point, this is for domestic company, this is for resident cooperative society. Correct? Second point, if I am writing here no in between, what does that mean? Ye same hai. Same for both. See, anything is different, I will write here and here. Anything that is common, I will write in between. By the way, everything other than the first point is same. Only the assessee is different, bro. Everything else is same. Dekhna? Next, default regime will be old. Therefore, exercise option of new, and that also on or before 139(1) due date. Correct? Eh? Is this also same? Once exercise. Exercise means what have you done? opted for. Complete this point, please. It is same for both sections. Forever new. Matlab, can I say you can never? Hello. And the last point. So that way, if you see, there are not too many conditions here. Very simple. Whether you are in trading business, service business, everyone is allowed here. Everyone is allowed. But the most important condition, no means no. It is not a word. It is a sentence. It's a sentence in itself. Guess what? What am I going to write under this word now? The deductions that will not be allowed. Voice up. If I'll tell you what, we did a long list over there in BAC. This list is half of BAC. Listen, half of BAC here, and all the points here are from BAC. Do one thing, okay? Mentally imagine BAC and identify those points which are individual specific, like salary ka all the points. House rent allowance, yeah, leave travel allowance, yeah, 10, 14. In fact, house property also. That way, if you see SOP wala. That exemption of other law, last point that we studied. MP MLA allowance can, individual can be MP MLA, no? Company cannot be. Minor child ka exemption that we gave. These were individual specific. You remove them and you get this list. So the special economic zone ka deduction, additional depreciation ka deduction, tea, coffee, rubber wala deduction, scientific research wala deduction, 3580 specified business investment link deduction. All the deductions are same. The deductions that will be allowed in the old regime, not allowed in the new regime. Chapter 6 hai, with exceptions. Okay. But still, I want to quickly take you through the list. So I will take you to that list. So this is cooperative societies ka 115 BAD. Similar list ही है, BAD, BAA का list is also same, and it's only this much. And if you observe, these points are from the same list. So SEZ का deduction, we discussed this. What is this? At least वो clear है. These are deductions that will not be allowed in the new regime. Additional depreciation. This point I told you to cancel because it was applicable only till 2020. Yeah, all these PGBP का deductions. Same है ना? All these PGBP का deductions. All deductions under chapter 6 से except 80 double J double A, and there is one more section 80 LA. 80 LA of IFSC we will discuss somewhere else when we discuss IFSC, but double J double A we discuss. And now understand why CCD2 and CCH2 can't come here. CCD2 is notified pension scheme, CCH2 is Agniveer. Why it can't come here? Logic है ना, common sense. Because they are individual specific. Anything individual specific cannot come here. Or yes or no? And brought forward deductions also. That way, if you observe, the list becomes same only. Same activity you can do here also. Here you may leave about 10 lines and fill in up these spaces. These are the first two sections, 115 BAA and BAD. First two sections for both assessee, company and cooperative society respectively. Everything is a similarity only except the assessee. ये clear है. In fact, when we go to the second set of sections, so for the companies we have 115 BAB, and for the cooperative societies we have 115 BAE, and this 115 BAE was also introduced last year only. Last year he introduced. Okay, and what was the logic behind introduction? I'll tell you. Companies had two categories. I think I told you already. Companies had two categories, BAA and BAB. Is now you understand with numbers 8% extra savings for manufacturing. Then there were cooperative societies who are doing same, and they were like, hey, sir, please give us also that benefit. They are also doing manufacturing. So on the same line as BAB for companies, BAE was introduced for cooperative society. So most of the things here are same, including 8% savings. So in these two sections you have net rate of previous 25.168, but in the manufacturing wala sections your net rate is going to be, can we clearly see 17.16 is a clear savings of 8%. We wish to encourage our manufacturers, and now we know how we are doing it. And a lot of features are same as these two only. You know, domestic and resident and optional, and we have discussed all this before. Are you with me, everyone? Listen, answer what I am asking. Are we giving you extra savings? 1 minute. Compared to old regime, in new regime here, is there savings? Yes, subject to conditions. Is there extra saving? Hello? Extra saving? Extra conditions. So the number of conditions that are covered in these two sections are double. These 5 will come, plus about 5-7 more conditions will come. You want more benefits, you have to fulfill more conditions. What simple? Simple. Okay? You understand or no? My question was, logic. Are we giving you additional 8% tax benefit? Then also fulfill additional condition. But let's start with things that you will find, you know, simple, comfortable, because we have discussed them multiple times. This section is for domestic company. This section is for resident cooperative society. Second, optional. Well, that no mat, no empty wala point also, if you want to write, you may, you know, like for being repetitive, you may again write here also, chuno. BAA and BAD also you can write no mat, no empty. Here also you can write. But I believe previously also we have written, and then here also when we summarize the rates we have written. So no need to be repetitive. No need to do this again and again. Yeah, ठीक है? So is this point same, and are you aware of this? Okay, next. What is your default regime? Old. Correct. Yeah? And therefore you have to exercise option of new on or before 139(1) due date. Same point. Hai? Do we also know once exercised, you will never be allowed to change it? Hello? तो same ही है ना यार. Everything that we have written appears to be same. चलो point E also. No means no. Following tax benefits will not be given. Once again same hai. Additional depreciation, scientific research, 35 AD, and I'll tell you one more time, you don't have to memorize the list by heart. I know the list by heart because I'm doing this every day. Believe me, as a student, you're not expected to. What is expected? If I am asking you a deduction, special economic zone, are you able to tell me old में मिलेगा, new में मिलेगा, क्या none of them, के both of them? तो मतलब give the answer. I am asking, can you tell me? हाँ, we can tell you. क्या? तो give the answer. Only old. MP MLA exemption. 80 C का deduction LIC. 80 double J double A employment generation. Are you able to do that? That is what is expected. To apply your knowledge. CA exams are not just memory ka test. But that is audit law. Law is gone. So audit. Test of memory. And your integrated business solution. Test of how many suitcases you can carry. You started studying IBS? No point, I'll tell you, because in any case you're not going to understand anything. IBS is basically all other papers. Hey Bhagwan, one teacher cannot teach all the subjects. Just imagine you asking me question from FR. In days that also. You asking me question Black and Scholes. Black and Scholes? अच्छा नहीं है अभी. You have no Black and Scholes. Third most complicated thing on the planet. Second is Duckworth-Lewis. First is wife ka mood. No? Black and Scholes. How on earth they invented that? You ask me questions, I won't know. But you are expected to, in one question, have Ind AS, have Black and Scholes, non-resident है तो उसका direct tax effect, उसका indirect tax effect, and also make an audit report. And then you are like, sir, मैं तो tax में काम किया, how to make audit report? Sir, I have worked in audit, how to make tax audit, how to do this. And which is why in the coming future, no, small firms, mid-sized firms that give you exposure to all kinds of assignments will assist you actually in your approach for your integrated business solution. Of course, too late for you guys, but even now, if you have juniors who listen to you, difficult these days because people, you know, these days kids don't want to listen to parents, teachers, seniors, they want to listen to influencers. वो भी paid वाला influencers. You know, education is going through very bad phase of late in our country, unfortunately. But if you have juniors who listen to you, educate them that it is better to work for those firms. And plus, you get time for your CA final study when it's a small firm, and you get time to pursue your hobbies and passions also. So you can't be doing CA exclusive of everything else in life. ठीक है, मतलब choice is yours, but if your juniors listen to you, kindly educate them. Because for your IBS, you will have to do everything. Okay, so if I am asking you a particular deduction and if you are able to answer yes, allowed in old regime only or allowed in old as well as new regime, then you are fit for the exam. At least for now, as we proceed further, we will study all those deductions. But then can I say these are the common points between these sections also? We can't have the same conditions and give you further 8% benefit. So obviously, there will be more conditions. Next. This organization here has to be a newly incorporated organization. Matlab, listen, there is one thing that I have not told you about the manufacturers, about 17.16 till now. First time I am telling you. Have I continuously told you manufacturer? No, new manufacturer. New manufacturer. That means traders, service providers will fall here, and old manufacturers will also fall here. Government brought these sections suddenly. This section, company wala section, and this section here, cooperative society wala section. This is company wala section, this is cooperative society. Listen to me carefully. This was brought in the 2019 ka ordinance, and this was brought in the 2023 ka budget, last year ka budget. So government said, from today, if you are newly incorporated company or cooperative society, then you fall in this section. And from today means what? For company, they kept the date as 1st October 19 because they brought this rule in 2019. And for cooperative society, your incorporation should be on or after 1st April 23 because they brought this rule in 23. So the budget announcement was any new organization after this budget, 19 or 23 as the case may be, will come in these sections. So no, supposingly my company is doing manufacturing since the last 10 years, 20 years. तो मेरे लिए न्यू रेजिम है. Old manufacturers will come in this 25.1168. Hello, you understand now? These organizations are newly incorporated. 8% saving will be only if you have incorporated after this date. Any organization that was incorporated prior to these sections will remain in the old regime. Above wala 25.168 wala section. Understood? This has to be newly incorporated manufacturer. So this is not manufacturer. This is newly incorporated manufacturer. ये क्लियर है everyone? That means one more time, trading companies here, come on, service companies here, old manufacturers also, ये newly incorporated, and for both the common condition is you have to start manufacturing up to 31st March 24. Register your organization, but registration is not enough, you have to start business also, no? Start manufacturing up to 31st March 24. Newly incorporated, and we give you some time to commence your manufacturing. Is that understood? Abhi more conditions hai, but is this new manufacturer ka condition clear? Now this will help you to understand the next point. Now everybody has understood that these organizations, whether company or cooperative society, are just in new way. They never existed in the past. They are created only because you saw this tax benefit. You suddenly see, arey, government is giving tax benefit to manufacturers. Chalo, let us start some manufacturing business. So you start your business, incorporate your organization after the required date, and after the financial year gets over, you will be filing your return of income. Correct, eh? You have to opt for new in your first ROI. Because you are new, we can keep a condition like this. Please wait, एक second. For these organizations, 25.168, did we say that you have to exercise the option in your first return? Arey bro, my company is 50 years old. There was no new regime at that time. So traditionally, historically, I was in old. 1 minute. Government is bringing new regime, but I will still remain in old. After few years, now I want to go to new. I can go to new and never come back. Correct? Eh? Because these are old organizations, we are not forcing you to move immediately. Stay in old for as long as you want. That day when you go to new, you will never be allowed to come back and go to new before due date. But you are little different, bro. You are newly incorporated, and we are assuming that you incorporated yourself only for this benefit. Then take this 17.16 in the first ROI itself. Otherwise, 17.16 will not be available. Matlab, I want you to understand this. 25.168. Can I decide to choose this some years later? Yes. But once I choose, I can't come back. But 17.16, I have to choose in my first year. Means, in 25.168, I am in old. Once I go to new, then forever. But in 17.16, I am newly created. I am filing my first return. Listen to me carefully. If I take new in the first return itself, then lifetime new, because this option we already know, once taken, never change. If I don't take 17.16 in my first return, then which regime I have chosen? Old regime. Then I will stay in old. Some years later, I want to go to new regime. Can I? Come on. 25.168 mein you can go, but 17.16 you have to choose in the first year itself. 17.16 if you want, you have to choose in your first ROI. Otherwise, after some years, this you can take at any point of time. Matlab 25.168 can be taken whenever you want. Once taken, cannot change. 17.16 has to be taken in the first year. First year, if you don't take, then you won't get it. But new regime you will get. Kaun sa wala? 25.168. Now you understood? No? Old companies, trading companies, के लिए we have 25.168. You choose now or later. You can choose whenever you want. Once you go in new, you will forever remain in new. Correct? Eh? These are new organizations. Is that clear? I am repeating for those who have some doubt. These are new organizations. Matlab now you will be filing your first return. In your first return, if you choose 17.16, तो you can never change, no, lifetime 17.16, वो clear है. In your first return, if you don't choose this section, क्योंकि optional है, तो you will remain in the old regime. After some years, you want new regime, but this is not available. This has to be chosen in the first return. So which new regime is available? 25.168, because those conditions I am fulfilling. Matlab, simply put, answer what I am asking. Are these newly incorporated manufacturing organizations? Yes. If you want new regime of 17.16, then first ROI. Or new regime of 25.168, which also you are allowed, but 8% ज़्यादा है. That you can take after some years also. 17.16 in the first year, 25.168 whenever you want. But notice this, once you go, whether 17.16 or 25.168, you can never come back to the old regime. Abhi clear हुआ? Everyone? Okay, fantastic. Next, quite a few conditions, huh, bro? बहुत है. This should not be created by splitting up or reconstruction of any existing business. This should not be created by splitting up or reconstruction of any existing business. English. Logic. Nothing is bigger than logic. Okay. Darsh Manufacturing Limited is a 20-year-old manufacturing company. Is it eligible for some new taxation regime? New regime. Old manufacturer है, new नहीं है. 25.168 correct है. 17.16? No, that's only for new. Idea. Liquidate Darsh Manufacturing Limited and make Darsh P Manufacturing Limited and start the same business again with a new name. And now I somehow enter this criteria. Do you realize all old manufacturers to get 8% savings for life have got a very good option? Liquidate your existing organization and start the same business with a new name. Hashtag Thug Life. We are living in a country called India, bro. People don't want to know the law, no. Law क्या है? Newly incorporated. People want to know, sir, ऐसा किया तो will I be eligible? They want to find a way out. They're trying to find a way out. Liquidate the existing organization, create a new organization so that I fulfill this condition. But now you know what. Liquidating an existing organization, amalgamation of an existing organization, demerger of an existing organization, any kind of splitting up or reconstruction of any existing organization will be disqualified. So if you liquidate and create the new regime, applicable 25.168, 17.16 के लिए we are learning conditions. 25.168 you could have taken in your existing organization itself. So why we will have a problem? Understand one thing, that all the extra conditions that we are now learning are only for 17.16. Hello, clear hai? Fantastic. Next, will there be plant and machinery that you will acquire for your manufacturing business? It should be new plant and machinery. Plant and machinery for this business should be new plant and machinery. Therefore, second-hand plant and machinery not allowed. Correct? Hai? But they further add by saying, if second-hand plant and machinery is imported, second-hand imported plant and machinery will be considered as new plant and machinery. Second-hand imported will be considered as New plant and machinery. You know why, sir? Logic है. देखो, if you know the reason, no, then you will understand things. That some of these manufacturing business are complicated. Adequate machinery is not available in India, and therefore we have to import. When we import because of foreign currency, the machinery becomes very expensive. Small businesses cannot afford, so they reduce their cost of asset by acquiring second hand. But then that will make you disqualified. So we are like, no problem. Second hand imported will be allowed. We are considering it as new. That means new local. Quickly tell me. Allowed cannot allowed. New local allowed. New imported. Second hand imported. Second hand imported considered as allowed. Considered as new. Second hand local. Correct or no? Second hand local is the only thing not allowed. This also allowed. क्या? ये सारे मिलके हमको पागल बना रहे. You don't know that, auntie? Government बिक गई है government. Bro, then again you are missing something in life. चल छोड़. Sir, what is going on? Second hand local. अरे wait please, have patience. रुको जरा, सबर करो. Second hand local, if it is within the limit of 20% of your total plant and machinery, then we will allow that also. It has to be within the limit of 20% of your total plant and machinery, then we will allow this also. Or is that understood, everyone? Hello? Are you with me? Now I am going to explain this with some numbers, and take these numbers very, very carefully, because these two conditions are very important. The reason is, when we do special economic zone ka chapter, same two conditions are applicable for deduction in SEZ. So 35 AD ka deduction, specified business, same two conditions applicable there also. There is a deduction for startups, same two conditions. Like there are multiple places in the income tax law where these two lines are written word to word. So today I am explaining it with numbers. Next time when I come to whichever, for example, SEZ will be the next step. I will just write not splitting up reconstruction and maximum second and local 20% of total. And I'll go to the next condition. Then you can say he is not explaining, bhaga raha hai, kya kar raha hai. I have already covered that explanation. Is that clear? So let us understand with numbers. Example. I'll give you two examples. Example 1, example 2. I have acquired new local plant and machinery. 10 lakh. Will that be allowed? अरे न्यू लोकल है. अच्छा, within 20% तो allowed ना? नहीं, always allowed. चलो, very good. Then I have acquired second hand imported. 5 lakh, 3 lakh. Allowed. Second hand है. हाँ, within 20 तो allowed. नहीं, any which way allowed. Correct. I will speak any nonsense. You have confidence here? So answer with confidence. Allowed or no? No limit applicable, always allowed. Considered as new only. Fantastic. Second hand local. Normally disallowed hai? Come on. But within limit to allow. This is 3 lakh and 5. So first we will go and check what is my total plant and machinery. 18. What is 20% of this 18? So I have to check whether it is within the limit of 20% of total we have to check. And this total, for those who have doubt, total will include this second hand local also. Grand total ka we are going to check 20%. So total will include second hand local. So check karo. Case 1 is 3 within the limit of 3.6. So allowed, but case 2 not allowed. Now you understood? And same two conditions are applicable everywhere. SEZ, 35 AD, startup deduction. Two conditions. Not splitting up or reconstruction of existing business. And second, Maximum second hand local will be 20% of. ये clear है? All these extra conditions are for extra 8%. हाँ? If you don't want to fulfill so many extra conditions, so no, I am giving you an option. These were too basic. Fulfill these conditions, pay 25.168. Don't take so much load in life. But that's still 8% extra. Okay? And if you want to save that 8%, then fulfill all the conditions. And many more to come. Your nature should be manufacturing. Business should be manufacturing. It is hereby clarified. You should not be doing any other business. Manufacturing cannot be, should not be, will not be one of your businesses. Manufacturing has to be your only business. You can't be having any other business. You can't say, sir, I am trader come manufacturer. Only manufacturing, no other business. Only manufacturing, no other business. To get the eligibility here. अरे ये समझा क्या bro? Okay, next. Now, do you know that 115 BAB came first and BAE came later? Only last year, so 4 year ka gap. 115 BAB, all points are same as BAE only till now, and everything is absolutely logical. There is this one illogical thing, absolutely illogical thing written in BAB. And it is proven that it is illogical because they have not written this year. So this line is written only where? BAB, which is also illogical. And it is proven because they have not written the same line in BAE. They say that you should not be using any building that was previously a hotel or convention center. No logic. Totally illogical. And of course, because it is illogical, they haven't even mentioned about it in cooperative society wala new section. We are manufacturers. Why are we or why will we be interested in buying a hotel? And you know what is a convention center? अरे banquet. ओए गुज्जू से ना 20 by 20 का होल है. Convention center. तुम लोग का you all cleared inter तो some award ceremony must have taken place ना to felicitate you guys. नहीं, you didn't clear inter. क्या award ceremony didn't take? क्यों? Because some other coaching class. Then why? अच्छा, I'll tell you. उसमें भी we have follow a system that supposedly you have cleared somewhere in the past, but you have still not received award. So just before the function you go and give your name कि मेरे को नहीं मिला है, मेरा पहले का बाकी है. So they are given. I am telling you just to let you know, but don't take my name that I told you this. Okay, otherwise the admin team will be like, why are you leaking all this? So just to let you know. Okay. हाँ तो वो convention center is that banquet. Why will a manufacturer buy a banquet? I don't understand. Absolutely illogical, and it is proven that it is illogical because they are not talking about it in BA. So you can ignore this condition if you want to. Next, following businesses appear to be manufacturing, but they are going to be ineligible. See, manufacture ka definition no is input, process, output. When input and output ka identity is different, it is manufacturing. What is manufacturing? Input, process, output. Come on, basic hai. Just imagine if not clarified, people will end up taking what kind of tax benefits. I will say, what is your profession? I manufacture CA. मैं CA बनाता हूँ. Bro, I am not making CA. I am making. Sorry. Vivek, please you close your ears when I am talking things like this. I apologize. Sometimes go by the flow, and I know you like it that way. I know students by now. Just imagine me making a claim. You know what? Don't run it as a proprietorship. Register it as a company. मैं तो बोलता हूँ make it a cooperative society because you get sympathy also from people when it is a cooperative society. What do you do? Manufacture. Manufacturing has to be defined. The following businesses claim that they are doing manufacturing, but they are disqualifying. But रुको, confusion नहीं चाहिए. So these businesses that I am going to write here, new taxation regime. Which one? So ineligible for 17.16 but 25.168, bro, is going to be allowed. ये clear है? अरे काही झालं? हाँ? कौन चिल्ला रहा है? Who is shouting? I didn't understand. You can change your place, come and sit on the first bench. And my wife always tells me one thing, that Nazdik se I look more handsome, bro. But knowing your preferences, I still have to maintain some safe distance. Huh? Because my preferences in life are sorted, huh, bro. मेरे को ऐसे अजीब कोई शौक नहीं है. Focus on the class, please. Okay. Following businesses are disqualified from. But you can take new taxation regime in the form of 25.168. मतलब we disqualify you from calling yourself manufacturer. If you understand, we are not disqualifying you from new regime. This, bro, you satisfy these many conditions and take. We want this for everyone. But for extra 8% savings, you are disqualified. Are you understanding this? So what are these businesses? One by one. Development of software. So now, as these businesses are being put down in front of you, you will realize, अरे हाँ यार, software developers, what do? Input, coding, process, output. It appears as manufacture, but we hereby make it clear you will not get 17.16. तभी समझ में आता? Okay, next. Conversion of marble blocks into slabs. अरे ये वो, it is not that marble, हाँ, यो गोटी खेलने को. I don't want confusion. Which, अरे वो, you know, stone mining होता है ना. So from those places we get those big stones which we have to cut according to the tile size. ऐसा थोड़ी कि mining से you bring a granite and just put it on your walls. You have to cut it. Flooring ka tiles or wall tiles, you have to cut it as per size, no? So that way stone has converted into tiles. And the identity of input output is different. But we don't consider you as manufacturer. You can take 25.168 if you want. Okay. Next. Bottling. Let me complete, huh? Of gas into cylinders. This is again, if you know, you know. I don't know what is your. By the way, you all eat cooked food, no? कि directly ऐसे tree से grass cut करके you cooked food, no? We need gas connection for that. So if I talk about my house, we get those red color ka LPG ka cylinders. Bharat gas, HP gas. You have to take the connection. We keep 2 cylinders at home. One is installed, other is filled. Once that cylinder, you know, the gas is over, we install the second one and order the new one. So the company will deliver a filled cylinder and take the empty cylinder and take money only for the gas. And supposingly both cylinders are over and still we have not received the delivery of our new cylinder, then what do? Borrow it from neighbor. You know, you must always maintain cordial relations with your neighbor. My ancestors have taught me that maintain cordial relations with, I always maintain cordial relations with my neighbor and his wife. Extremely cordial relations. You must be aware of your strengths and weaknesses in life. You should know what you are good at, theory or practical strength. I am aware of my strength. My wife is my biggest strength. My neighbor's wife is my biggest weakness. You should be aware of your strengths and weaknesses. We are, that in these gas cylinders, actually when it is stored inside the cylinder, it is in liquid form, and when it comes out in gaseous form. That is called bottling of gas into cylinder. So that way, if you see liquid gas, identity is different, but that is not going to be considered as manufacturing. Next, mining, stone mining, coal mining, gold mining, anything. You are not manufacturing, you are extracting natural resources. It is not going to be considered as. Already government is allowing you to exploit natural resources, then don't expect 8% savings. Okay. Next, printing of books. That way you must be thinking, sir, ye kai ka manufacture? Why not? Think about it. Paper goes in the machine and comes out as books. Identity of paper and book is different, no? It falls in the definition of manufacture, but we are disqualifying you from the tax benefit. You understood or no? Next, production of cinematographic films. The stupidity is, if someone asks you, where were you this weekend? Picture dekhne. Picture means photograph. Like in proper English, picture is photograph. You don't sit for 3 hours watching a photograph. Even if it is Deepika ji. It's a cinematographic film. You can say movie or film. Just imagine Karan Johar taking benefit. He has taken benefit of a lot of people in life. Too deep this is. He has made the Shah Rukh Khan. Fans, don't get offended, please. But that is not manufacturing. I hope you understand. Hello. Do you? So we are not going to let you take benefit. And lastly, they say any other notified. Now what do you mean by this? Any other notified. Right now we have a rigid list. Supposingly they want to add some business here. Then they will have to wait for budget. Get it passed in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, President ka stamp. There is a secret way of bringing amendments. Please listen. Finance Minister will add this line in, not just here, this you will see in a lot of chapters. So understand this explanation first time itself. Finance Minister is telling people in the parliament that please let me add this line here. Because supposingly I want to add some more business which is disqualified. Say installation of ACs, pipeline. I want to disqualify. I will have to wait for all of y'all for the budget session. Please allow me to do changes in the middle of the year. This line is passed by Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, President ka stamp. Now it is a part of the law. This line basically means the finance minister is hereby empowered that during the year at any point of time, if they feel that they want to add any business, they will come up with something called a notification. Notification is like you all know notification better than any other generation, I believe. It's a matter of time. You have to put your mobile data on and ting. You all know notification. It's like an announcement. Finance minister will come up with an announcement and tell people that we are adding one more business. And this point comes in a lot of chapters. We will bring amendments without waiting for the budget. The most popular example of notification is in capital gain. We have a concept, we used to have a concept called cost inflation index, which was never announced in the budget. It was always announced later on the basis of inflation, because that section empowers the finance minister to release in the form of notification. So whenever they want to make any announcement, they will release in the form of notification and add a business here. But for now, you have to learn only the first 6 businesses that we have written. Following businesses, they appear to be manufacturing something, but we are going to disqualify them. Everybody is clear about this? Sure. Fantastic. This brings us to the last point, the last thing that you have to take care of when you are saving extra 8. So I one more time remind you, for 25.168 conditions were very basic. Domestic resident optional hai before the due date and forego tax benefits, irrespective of nature of business, irrespective of incorporation, everything, irrelevant. But if you want to save extra 8%, then we have all extra conditions. Date of incorporation, nature of business, only manufacturing, still these businesses disqualified, lot of conditions. Last condition. Are we going to calculate your NTTI? Obviously that NTTI will be as per new regime without deductions. First, divide this NTTI into incomes which are taxable at special rates and incomes that are taxable at normal rates. That's your first step. Why am I doing this? I hope you have not forgotten. Please participate so that I know you are with me, not just enjoying the class but also understanding things. I am assuming you are enjoying the class because I know you are. Please tell me, why am I doing this breakup? Acha, breakup hurts you, segregation. Bas? Why am I doing this? Because special rate will apply irrespective of regime. It's your normal income that will go in the new regime. Special income will always get covered in the rates that are specified in chapter 12. Chapter 12 of income tax law is special rates of tax. So if you have long-term capital gain, casual winning, short-term stock market wala, all that will come. Ye clear hai? Now let's talk about your normal incomes. So normal incomes are the incomes that will go in 17.16, if you understand. Come on. Because if I have capital gain, so that can't come here. Long term, which has special rate. But wait, there is a twist. There is something that you have not thought of. That these normal incomes can have business income. Which business? Manufacturing. Correct? And then can we have other heads of income? So please understand, somewhere in the conditions, we were told that you should be doing only manufacturing, no other business. Is this condition clearly told? Is this condition clearly given to us? But you did not think about this, that I am not allowed to do other business. I can have investment in property. Bro, if I earn money from manufacturing business and keep that money in saving account, I will have IFOS interest. I can have dividend. We are not prohibiting other heads of income. We are saying you should not be having any other business. So other heads of income to possible hai. It is only your manufacturing wala business that will come in 15%. So no, net effective tax rate is 17.16. Surcharge cess included. But what was basic rate? 15 only. I am writing 15 because surcharge cess will get added in all of them. Surcharge cess will come in all of them. Okay, so I am writing 15 here. Then we will say add surcharge, add cess. Everybody is with me? So, first of all, are you clear that this excessively high savings by keeping your tax rate of 15, yeah, effective rate of 17.16 is only for your manufacturing activity? Of course, other business so you are not allowed only. But other heads of income you can have. Come on. Like IFOS, like house property. Salary you can't because you are company or cooperative society. Salary is not possible. But you will have house property. You will have other sources. You will have capital gain. So no, every capital gain does not come here. Listen to me carefully. Long term will always come here. Stock market or outside stock market. Short term will come here only if it is stock market. There is special rate only for stock market ka short term. If it is sale of jewelry, land, building, which is short term, that will also come here. Special rate is prescribed only for long term capital gains, all, and short term capital gain, stock market. You understand? So, what are the things that we will have here? We will be having short term capital gain, normal wala, because special wala is to gone here, and long term everything has gone here. Hello, correct or no? हाँ, what rate is applied on other heads वही तो करवा रहा हूं. That is what I'm teaching, that manufacturing business is the only activity eligible for this ridiculously low rate of tax. The other activities, look, first let us identify what are the other activities. Short term capital gain, normal wala non stock market, and you will also be having other income in the nature of house property IFOs. Only this much, because salary cannot come. Business में other than manufacturing you're not allowed, so that manufacturing we have already separated, and other than this capital gain all other capital gains have already gone here. So this is your only possibility. सुनो ध्यान से, I can directly give you the answer. Someone has in the chat box, I read the doubt, not the name, Purnima. Sir, where will the other incomes go? I want to create an atmosphere in my classroom where I don't give you answers, you give the answers. I will explain only the logic. You try to give the answer. Special rate to always special. Bro, old regime, new regime, manufacturer, non-manufacturer, this is gone. Let's talk about this part. Is this assessee in new taxation regime? New taxation regime of these assessees have two aspects, 25.168 and 17.16. 17.16 is excessive encouragement of manufacturers, but then only for your manufacturing business and no other business. So 15, and of course with surcharge and cess we end up taking it to 17.16, 10% and 4%. But then these are not those incomes that we are encouraging for manufacturing. These are your other income. We are not prohibiting them. We are prohibiting other businesses, but these incomes are possible. The one thing is for sure, they don't have special rate of tax. Sunna dhyan se. They don't have special rate. Otherwise, they would have gone. They will not be eligible for the manufacturer wala benefit. Otherwise, they would have come. And they are in new regime. Old hota, so we would have applied old wala rate. Sunna dhyan se. Listen. Dividend income will also come in IFOs only. No? Okay, dividend will also come in IFOs. What am I saying? Normal rate hai. New regime hai, but 15% not allowed, because that is only for manufacturing. Take a guess, bro. 25.168, because in 25.168 manufacturing was not the condition, only business was not the condition. They said domestic company or resident cooperative society, leave your tax benefits, and for all incomes except special rate we are giving you 25.168. So only manufacturing business will come in 15%. This activity will come. I am writing 22 here. I am not writing 25.168. You know why? Common mein I am going to add 10% surcharge and 4% cess. So the net rate will come to the required rate. And wait, here also. Matlab, listen. This 17.16 is only for your manufacturing business ka profit. For all other incomes, you are going to be treated like this. For all other incomes, you are going to be treated like this. Understood? Of course, normal wala income, because special income, special rates. Ye clear hai? Okay, wait. Now the question is, sir, so finally this and this both will go in 25.168 net. So why are you segregating? So then you could have written everything else 25.168, matlab basic 22 plus 10 plus 4. There is one more thing that you have to be careful. This is capital gain, where the definition is selling price minus cost of acquisition. Cost of asset will be subtracted. But as far as these incomes are concerned, they have actually said that we will not give you any deduction against them. Matlab without deduction. So for example, house property. We will not let you take that 30% standard deduction or interest deduction, and then we will give you 22% correct. For IFOS, whenever you earn any income under IFOS also, uske samne you are allowed to take the deduction of expenses. We won't give you any deduction. But here we can't write that no deduction wala rule, because use your brain. If in capital gain we ever say no deduction of expense, matlab we are taxing you on sale consideration, which is nonsense. So in capital gain, we have to give you deduction of cost of acquisition. Rate is same, 20 to 22. But capital gain, you can take deduction of cost. in house property and other sources, you will not be getting any deduction. Ye clear hai? Means these other incomes will go in new regime of 25.168. In 15%, which is the only income that will come, manufacturing, and only manufacturing, no other business. Ye clear hai? Of course, all these rates will be subjected to surcharge and cess, and change this effectively to 17.16 and 25.168. But you understood that where will 17.16 come and what will happen to everything else? And IFOS will include dividend. For all the doubts in the chat box, what will happen to the other incomes? Yeah, what rate? I have answered that. Where will dividend go? I have answered that. One last line, and this concept will get over, these two sections will get over, this chapter introduction will get over. Last line. Then don't you think this is excessively high benefit compared to your own other incomes? Bro, forget that. Compared to old regime, compared to new regime applicable to non-manufacturers. We live in a country called India, and again now people are going to do manipulations. I'll explain how. I have two companies. One is a trading company, yeah, maybe old manufacturer company. They're eligible for 25.168. And other organization falls in all these conditions. Matlab, I have two organizations, one in 22, one in 15. Yeah, effective rate 25.168 and 17.16. Both companies belong to me. Is this possible? That I am owner of two companies, one and cooperative society, one goes in BAA, other goes in BAB. Is it possible that internally there is some business between these companies, buying, selling? Now guess what will people do? If you are really understanding what is happening, just like you answered this, no? On your own, I did not give the answer, I explained the logic. You want to guess what people will do, how people will manipulate? Taxation gap, taxation mismatch. From your 17.16 company, if you are selling to your 25.16 wala company, sell at very high price. Or if you are buying, then buy at a low price. Target is show more profits in this organization and show less profit in your own other organization where tax rate is higher. Sir, ultimately your total profit at the time of consolidation of accounts will remain same. Then why are we showing, obviously why are we showing more profit here? Because of tax benefit. Does that make sense to you now? You understood what is happening, and therefore they had to add this point. If your eligible business eligible for what? For 15% is showing supernatural profits, unbelievable profits. Arey, people are bringing their undisclosed income, that so-called black money, and declaring profit. 15% is not bad, no? Just imagine, 15% is not bad. Declare your undisclosed income and pay 15%. Other manufacturers are showing losses. You are showing 1,000 crore ka profit, 5,000 crore ka profit, and paying tax at 15%. There is something dark in the lentil. Matlab dal mein kuch kala hai. Too deep nahi samjha babu. You are showing supernatural profits in your eligible business. Then in that case, AO has power. Now we are leaving this at the discretion of your assessing officer. AO has power to recompute the profits that will be eligible for 15%. AO is empowered to recompute the profits that will be eligible for 15%. Matlab, supposingly your 15% wala manufacturing business is showing 5,000 crore ka profit. So you are paying tax of 15% on 5,000 crore. Assessing officer says, bro, other people in the industry are not making more than 1,000 crores. So I will give you 15% benefit only on 1,000 crore. AO has the power to recompute, and whatever is the excess. So in our example, if 5,000 you are showing and AO is saying eligible is only 1,000, so what is the excess? That excess will be taxable at a rate of 30%. 30%. So be careful before any manipulation. Your manufacturing business ka profit will be taxed at 15%, but it has to be reasonable profit. If you are showing unreasonably high profit in that activity, so AO will decide how much is reasonable. at his discretion. You heard me right. That much amount will be taxable at 15, and whatever extra you have shown, which people do because we live in India. Like y'all guess know how people will do it. Book more profits in the eligible business. AO has power to recompute, and the excess will be taxable at 30. So we have 15%, we have 22% for your other heads, and we have 30% for our reasonably high profits. In all the rates stated above, we will be adding surcharge always at 10%, and we will be adding HEC also always at 4%, because I had to write this for 30 also, for 10 for 15 also, for 22 also. That is the reason. Ek second idhar aao. Here I did not write 17.16 and 25.168. You understood? Because surcharge and cess I had to include for everything. Ye clear hua, bro? Everyone, this is that extra part of BAB and BAE for 8% saving. With this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Deviyo, Sajjano and Mitro, congratulations, Badhai ho, Abhinandanam, because we can hereby say that we have finally completed our introduction. But good thing is, all tax rates across assessees, across regime, everything is over. So when we do company ka chapter ya partnership firm ka chapter, we don't have to waste time in doing tax rates. We will directly learn the sections. For those feeling sad, sir, 4 lecture ho gaya, but you have done only tax rates, so we haven't got enough opportunity to judge you. Bro, very next chapter is international tax, double taxation relief, and first thing in the morning you will get that opportunity. By the way, I know you are very happy only with your decision, but that's the end of today's lecture.